Citrus
Yeah,
tiger.
that's citrus tiger.
Nice. They're a rare commodity. These
They
days.
are. He did a show, and somebody came and bought the only one I had.
Yeah. Welcome back to Carpets and Coffee.
We swear we're alive.
78.
We didn't break up like the Beatles. Like it was,
Yeah,
Eric
we were
and I
supposed to
aren't
start
fighting.
at 5, but we're a little late. We are doing some finishing touches on
Fucking
some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I've been pretty much close to dead for like 2 weeks almost. It's been, I think I can't keep monitors because I'm allergic to the bugs. I think it's the bugs, and I don't know.
Really?
I don't know, but I've been having terrible asthma. I haven't had like this in years. So
I've seen it hardcore with the crickets.
What is it? It's you got roaches though.
Dude,
I think
I'm
it's just
sure it works with those too. I just haven't seen it as much.
we came very close to it being Carpet Fest, and then Eric was going to be like in a bubble, like one of those like kind of like rebreather things, and he would be able to talk to you via whiteboard, holding it up, and that was it.
Yeah.
So we came.
I haven't
close.
been. I've been back and forth, I think, to the hospital. I don't know, man, 4 or 5 times, just getting treatments, and it's been bad. So, and happened right before Carpet Fest doesn't make me stress any less. Having to do all this shit while you can't breathe is not necessarily an easy thing. But that's where we've been. We haven't. I was telling Owen before we started, I was catching up on just some of the comments that were on YouTube or whatever, and somebody had mentioned that they thought we went to the way of GTP Keeper Radio, and
I'm
just
insulted.
retired. And I was like, how dare you?
First off, they did like 8 shows and then bailed. Like, come on now.
What's up, Robert?
I will tell that to Bill's face when I see him at Carpet Fest.
Yeah, right. So Carpet. Well, let's give a shout out to Cold Blooded Caffeine. We have Cold Blooded Cafe Chris in the house, but we talked to Cold Blooded Caffeine.
Yeah, I already hate those guys.
I don't even know who I work for now. It's like
so. I always rave about the. I just wanted to give this little update for them, for people that might go and purchase coffee from those guys. It was what was it? It's the Nicaraguan honey processed coffee that they pretty much had for close to a year. Obviously, as seasons change, availability of certain things changed, but they were able to land a Mexican honey processed coffee, and I always like trying new things. So it's coming soon. I guess if you want the honey processed Nicaraguan coffee, you should probably get that before it's all gone. But if you want to hold out for the Mexican stuff, you can.
They should also try the NPR blend because reasons.
The Carpets and Coffee, it's delicious. I just finished a whole bag of it.
Just ate it straight up. Don't do that.
Straight up.
It's not good. It's like, don't tell me how to live my life. All right.
That's what sold me on it. Now I need all of it. If you can just eat it from the bag.
Just straight from the bag, man.
Can I get?
Why waste time? You know what I mean? I'm not straight into the bloodstream. You're good to go.
There we go. That's what Chris does. And then he goes and works on the farm. He just downs it. Let's go. Yeah.
I did see one. So they have a YouTube channel, right? And they did a video.
Anymore,
but they did a video where they had mayonnaise and coffee.
I can't.
And I was like,
I can't.
What the hell, man?
No. And when we had him on, we talked about that because there was that one football player that was going into the draft that he's like, oh, I put mayonnaise in my coffee. I'm like, this child needs to get his head examined. He's clearly taken too many hits to go to the NFL. And it's like, no. And then I saw him do the video of he tried coffee with the mayonnaise in it. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Please, no.
Yeah, he did it. Yeah. His face at the beginning of it was like, oh my God. So yeah, we what's up, everybody in the chat? We have so that's the coffee thing. And we are a week away from Carpet Fest, the Northeast Carpet Fest. So that'll be next Saturday.
Repping my
there you
shirt.
Go.
Yeah.
Where can you get that shirt, Owen?
You can get it online. There's a link probably somewhere in some sort of show notes
in
or
the
some
show
other
notes.
places. Yeah.
Oh
See?
my God.
So it comes in multiple different colors. So It arrived yesterday. So I have it I'm testing it. So far it works as a t-shirt. Yes.
So is there a link, or is this where we text each other back and forth that we fail at our jobs every day?
Is there a link?
I'm feeling personally attacked by that kind of comment. So
at least I said I did it too.
Oh yeah, that is true. That was the he texted me saying I failed. I meant to get you a write-up. And I'm like, yeah, it's all right. And then he's like, well, did you post about the show? And I'm like, fuck. Like, it was
just it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. So
yeah, Northeast Carpet Fest is next Saturday, 12 to 12. Don't bring any animals, obviously.
For the love of God, like we the rules are posted.
Well, wait, I will say this. There are a couple people that are bringing me animals. That's okay.
Wait a minute.
No. That's okay, because the whole problem of why I don't want people bringing animals is because I don't want you bringing something here that has come here in the past, if you will, like I don't want mites again and all this stuff. Okay. Yeah. And if they're my snakes, they're going to go into quarantine and I'm not going to have them in the room and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be the snakes that you'll see. The snakes that are getting brought.
If any snakes arrive, if any snakes are brought, they're now Eric's.
Yeah,
they're now like, you don't bring it.
But here's the thing: I don't. These are snakes
that you want. You don't want.
Well, I don't necessarily want more snakes, but these are things that I sort of need to have, if you will. I guess does that make sense? Like I've sort of slimmed down some things so
what
I can
color
add.
IJs are these?
Well, Nova Guineas is one.
See,
yeah,
check
because I lost mine, so I have to. I can't not have Nova Guineas. I mean,
got a bunch of Arus.
Arus.
Yeah.
Aru what?
I don't know. Green tree python.
No, I'm talking about Nova Guineas. Like
I don't know, but I thought you were going to get some. I thought, check Nova Guineas, but then I figured there might be some other stuff. Yeah.
Breadlie.
What?
Yeah.
Get your breadlie.
Yeah, but these are breadlie.
Okay, all right. I'm not.
Fair enough.
But anyway,
I'm not trying to repeat. When was that? 2012, probably, when I said that my snakes are nice snakes that slum it, and your snakes.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, you're like,
I was like,
I have all
to
these
say
really
that.
great
I was like,
snakes in
well,
these
my
bins,
snakes live
like,
really high-end snakes that live in shitty enclosures, and you have really nice enclosures. And I was like, oh shit, there's only one way I can go with this.
This is a clip. This is after I had just gotten all the black cages from Evolution, the ones that were all that shit that Chris built in my basement for me.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
While you were on vacation.
While I was on vacation, yeah.
That they do. Cold-Blooded Cafe has nice, clean rodents.
Yeah.
You never know your true friends until they leave you. Who's done the network since?
So they leave you with the keys to their collection, and then you just build them snake cages and go. Yeah, it's like
I missed the name of that comment person, but thank you,
Timothy.
Yep. I'll put it up again.
Yeah,
I would agree. So we have Chris here.
Yeah,
Chris Foley.
We have an in with Chris, being that he and I were roommates in college. So, and no, that is not a lie. No, that is not fake. We didn't make that up. Actually, fucking happened.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Should we tell them what we're doing? I
think we should.
We've been trying to sort of work this out for quite a while. I think at least Owen's been working on this. And I buy my rodents from Cold-Blooded Cafe without even being forced. Because
I think that's what finally got it. Is I just started shaking you, going like, you already do it. Like,
I want to give them more money. That's what do you mean? So yeah, I vote with my dollar. Everything that I've ever gotten from Cold-Blooded Cafe has been pristine. The packing is pristine. There's no bullshit with tracking or anything. Whereas, like, if you order from other rodent suppliers, you get bags and it's all like, rodents every which way. And, this is clean, neat, no bullshit. They're great. I never have any problems with, snakes not eating them or anything. where I did have that problem with Rodent Pro. So I don't know why, other than they just smell different, you know.
Everything smells different, but
right.
like Chris and I were talking about feed and stuff, which is like you never think about that kind of stuff until you get into it with somebody who's like clearly he's had to think about this kind of stuff where it's like, he could probably tell me chapter and verse about Rodent Block, but
yeah.
So what we're doing is we're gonna do a little partnership with Cold Blooded Cafe where we're gonna get you guys a discount code that you can use at checkout. So and you'll be able to put it in. You get a nice little discount when you're getting your rodents, and then Chris is gonna come to Carpet Fest to. I mean, he was gonna try to come anyway because I mean he's been to all of them.
Right.
So yeah, I mean it wasn't really gonna be that bad.
We've had some stories.
Oh yeah. But so yeah, dude. I mean,
if we recreate the same stories at this one, I might get fired. So you might get a more subtle me this year.
And also, dude, like
plus we're older too.
I was gonna say we're getting up there. Can we really sleep underneath tables? Like
we're not young and chipper like we used to be.
Apparently under the couch cushions, according to
Salemi.
Yeah.
I think that's where they found you.
I think they were under the couch cushions. Yeah, 100%.
But we'll get to the. I mean, I don't know if there's any other details that we need to really kind of get into, or that you want to say, Chris, or anything you want to toss out there as far as that sponsorship goes, or anything like that.
So I mean, really, I appreciate the comments that Eric made about the packing. That's something we've always been conscious of, not only from a aesthetic and customer and marketing perspective, but like. And I have this video with one of my employees that's going to come out on the site soon. We're doing like an employee spotlight where you get to see behind the scenes of who's doing this work for you. And the first guy that I'm interviewing is the guy that runs the euthanasia process.
Okay.
Because that's taboo in the industry. Like, you need us, but who really wants to do that?
Right.
Like, I don't.
I
do it, but it's not my favorite part. And if it is, there might be something wrong with you.
Yeah. If you enjoy it, something's not correct with you.
But as animal lovers, we still have an appreciation for the rodents while they're alive. We created them. They didn't ask for this, and they don't know what's happening to them. So while they are alive, they get the best care that they can. And I think that there's just some general, humanity and consideration for the animal when, not only did it live solely for your purpose, and then you euthanize it. And then when you have these guys that look like they're fist pounding them into bags, like we just always kind of felt like that's kind of just like a general disrespect for like what.
I mean that's a little much. Like it's animal welfare and stuff like that. Like I don't know. I don't like that whole thing of cramming it all in there. Oh, that did not take long, dude. Yeah, you said that was going to be a thing that somebody was going to bring up. Yeah.
Well, we might as well go there next.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as the chicken chicks, we're having a really big sale right now. Right now, we're running 50-cent chicks. That's on the website. That's roughly 30% off, and I think like $7 a bag. And that's going to run through Sunday night, and then when I'm too lazy to take the ad down, you can probably sneak a few in Monday.
Go to Monday.
But as far as the quail goes, we've been looking at this for a while because it's important. A lot of people want it. It seems like most of the distributors are either inconsistent or the ones that are good. Everyone knows that they're good, so they're inconsistent in availability as well. So there's one or two people that we're really looking at partnering with to stock the quail. And we've really gotten to the point where if for some reason that doesn't work, we're just going to add them to the farm and do it in-house.
Cool.
I know that kind of sounds like the logical thing to do in the first place, but there's a lot that goes into it when you already consider what we already have on our plate with the rodents.
What's adding 100,000 quail?
We can't cut that quality for the cost of anything else. And if we did, I'd rather just not carry anything else.
Right.
So to us, the easy answer is, really doing our due diligence on another vendor, not just taking anything that comes in, but finding the right relationship and offering from there. And we're really, really close. So I think that's going to happen. And if it doesn't, we have to do it on our own, then it'll still happen by the end of the year.
Okay, cool. So we'll try to keep our eyes open for that stuff because, quail and anything. Do you see that where people are constantly asking for maybe more not run-of-the-mill feeders, like not just the white rodents? They're kind of going over here to the, I want to say like weirder stuff, but
no, and to be honest, we can't keep ASFs in stock anymore because it's a thing. It's good for troubled feeders. It's good for feeding variety. It's, you know, so that's awesome too. And because you mentioned the varied diet, another thing we're looking to do is a kind of you know, alternative whole food prey for maybe troubled feeders, varied food and monitors, things like that. Kind of like a link or a sausage type thing, but it's going to have whole prey in it. So things like frogs, it's not just frog legs, it's going to be the whole frog.
cool.
We carry a fish that it doesn't seem like we've seen out here all too much. And it's not going to have the traditional casing that you're used to. And I think a lot of times when some of those other products worked really well, they worked really well. If they didn't always work very well, we think that maybe some of it could have been contributed to that. I don't have a ton of information on it yet. I am not the brain works behind the process. That's actually Ashley Dezan of Northern Lights Reptile Imports in Canada. So she's starting to release it up there. I think it's definitely a need in our country, in our industry.
Yeah.
Dealing with the back and forth in two countries is definitely challenging, but it may really just kind of lead to something that we manufacture here, but do that with her expertise. She's definitely shown the value in that with the work she's done with some of these rare and hard to keep species. When I started to jump kind of out of the scrubs and stuff, and kind of you and I at the same time, and jump into some of the colubrid things. But when I started going to like Turonius and, you know, Boiga stuff and things that like to come in and die, she ended up being my resource to get some of that right. So I'm really trusting in that relationship as far as making the right product for some of those things.
So Chris is looking for suggestions on sausage grinders. If you have them, go ahead and send those to him so that
I think I might have an extra one at work.
Oh my God, there you go, dude. Now Carpet Fest is really starting to look like it's going to be productive.
Yeah, we haven't signed anything, so if you want to keep this relationship, you might be having to cook some of this stuff in your kitchen for me.
We're not going to read all contracts like double now and make sure there's nothing sliding in there. Yeah. But so we got another question. Do you guys outsource any rodents? I guess that's like buying from other people, or
so we do have some partners that we work with, but it's all US based. It's not, I'm guessing where this is kind of going is that, you know, a lot of these companies are kind of outsourcing like those import China rodents and things like that. We don't go that route at all. Everything's bred here. And like I kind of said with the quail, like if there is anybody else that we work with, like there's significant due diligence. Like I will not take mice that Owen bred in his basement. I don't trust them.
I wouldn't either. Yeah. I would not. I mean, I'll say I do get the Missouri rodent block, so I'm a step above most local PA breeders. So yeah.
So and honestly, that's what we use too. And when I first started to learn about this industry, the first thing I saw is how freaking expensive that stuff is. But then you kind of see the value to it, and you compare some animals that were raised on it and some that weren't. It's night and day. I
really
it at all. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was.
What is the difference? Like, what's the difference?
You just kind of you see it in their growth rates. You see it in the condition of their skin and their fur, and it's kind of weird because I saw this in some. I appreciate that you named a competitor, but I'm not allowed to be that guy, so I'll just continue to use the word competitor.
Okay. Was I not allowed to say that?
No, just keep rolling.
Where you'll have like a larger looking animal that weighs less than a smaller animal from somewhere else.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
And I couldn't really wrap my head around how that was possible. And it kind of looks like, you know, when these rodents are in their growth spurts, that, you know, they're going to grow.
Yeah,
they're going to grow. If you feed them bad food, if you don't feed them enough food, they're still going to grow. And what determines if they grow into a, nutritious, fulfilled animal is what they eat. And we've heard it, with our food for God, how many years now with all this health craze stuff. Like, it's not what you eat, it's like what your food eats.
Yes. 100%.
Right. So, I mean, that was something they taught us at school or at college, where it was like, I had a whole course on breeding the laboratory animals. And one of the things is that some of these rodent block formulas are designed so that they can help the mother handle the litter and actually produce a healthy litter and take care of the babies. And that was the whole point of it. And we actually had to potentially change some of the diets over for certain, like I think it was hamsters. They needed a different diet right when she became pregnant so that she could have the baby's full term thing. And it was just kind of that weird stuff that nobody ever freaking thinks about. And, especially not somebody who just wants to breed pinkies in their basement and gives their mouse a dog food. It's like that's not what they did. They don't. That's not research they're doing. So yeah,
right. And like on the surface, that looks just fine because they'll eat anything, right?
Exactly. But yeah, when you get down to it, no.
But yeah, I mean that's something they've done. A really long time. Desiree is the owner of the company. She couldn't be here with me. She's out having more fun than all of us catching rattlesnakes in Arizona.
Oh, God damn it.
that Willardy, she's or Willard, whatever you want to, however you want to call it, that
but she's had some phenomenal contacts and phenomenal relationships. Stephen, was heavily involved in kind of reworking the process in the barn. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew Forrest at some point. Like there's a really rich history to the company where my role has been to mostly just help, really kind of streamline that. Like if you know me, like I'm an ops guy. Like I was a district manager for Regal Cinemas. I had 22 stores, 400 employees. I hated that life with a passion. For me, this is like the perfect combo because we're I'm still in that management role. I'm helping a lot with finances. They had a great system in place. I just made the system efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I didn't come in and really change anything, but
right.
I had the HR experience, the people skills, and that's what where I kind of worked, the stuff that I did. To me, it's been great because I can use that, but then we're still working with the animals. And then when we get to do things like this, I just feel really in touch with, the reptile stuff that got us all here. And I feel like so many times Regal took me away from that. Like how many times did even you and I, Owen, like share all these awesome projects? And then I'm like, poof, I'm moving again, buddy.
Yeah. That was, yeah. there were a few times you're like, so I'm going to, what was the one? Was it Maryland or something like that? You're like, I gotta go. And about those like 5 white lips is like, oh shit. Like it was, and I had to, there were a couple times where I held stuff here and then it either like somehow assimilated into my collection again or was sent to you, or we decided to part with it because you were not in a place where you could take it and I was running myself ragged. So, but yeah, there were a couple times where that kind of happened.
So definitely still busy, definitely putting in a lot of hours, but it definitely feels more balanced, more at home and more natural. So many times with that Regal stuff, I knew what to do. So I faked what to do. And now there's a little more freedom where, if I tell a staff they're being an idiot, I don't go to HR because I am HR.
Eric's like, God, that's amazing. Like, how many of my employees I'd love to just
because Eric's still living that life.
Yeah, still living the life.
Yeah.
Except I have 200 employees in one store. Yeah.
Cool.
What are you gonna do?
So with your, like, I mean, we know the rodent breeding and all that stuff. And I know you talked a little bit about your collection with us a little bit before we got on air. Like, where are you sitting at with your own personal collection? Like, where's it at right now?
It's still a mixed bag of everything.
Cool.
But my focus has mostly shifted over to monitors. That's been a big thing. You guys always told me I was going to do it. I told you were full of shit. And then 10 croc monitors later,
That's how many
why
you
haven't
have.
seen me on the show in a while.
Wait, that's how many you have right now? 10?
If you count the babies, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
that's still horrible.
What made you pick that species of all the monitors you could work with or have worked with? What about croc monitors is
so? For me, that was like, look, I'm sure we all have that animal that like we were fascinated with as kids. Like you saw it at the zoo or you saw it on TV.
Pythons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I picked one that was unrealistic to own. So, so that's how I viewed it though. I was like, you see it in the zoo in this giant enclosure, you see it on TV, the internet comes around, and one of the first things you see are those gigantic teeth that, I'm sure you've seen that skull comparison with the Komodo dragons.
Yeah.
So all of it just looked unfeasible, and I didn't think I'd have the room or the resources or anything like that, and I just kind of hung on to it. And then we had the Andrew segment of life, where we had one at the house.
Yeah, there was that.
Roommates.
Yeah,
that was about the one good part of that.
Yeah. So.
And I still didn't, really feel like I had that experience. So I'm like, this thing's amazing. I would look at it, maybe spray some water at it, but like, I wasn't going to go in there and touch it.
Somebody else's lizard.
You've seen me do some dumb things, but like, we just know what that animal could do. And I just wasn't that guy at that time.
I'm so glad that's where the line was, because I was a little concerned that, because like I said, we've gotten so point. I'm like, he's not going to do that. Oh shit. There he goes. So like, all right, well,
I don't remember where it was, but I remember going to Site B.
That was it. Yeah.
Owen would call Site B.
It was Rogue Reptile Site
B.
Yeah.
I remember going there, and you had that room where you had like that big Merauke scrub, and you had the white lips that you're holding as it's like striking at your head. It was like, that's just normal. I'm like,
yeah, they're all like that. Like, yeah, it's just.
And then there was it Savannah Monitor, or was it
a black throat?
Black throat, huge enclosure
stuff outside of the room.
Yeah,
that was Andrew's stuff.
And then you had those sarongs, those really black sarongs.
Yeah, and those big neodacia cages.
I was saying the neodacia that didn't have
doors that you couldn't see through.
Yeah,
we're opening up the neodacia, and you're like, maybe stand like a little bit to the side of it, like, because normally they're like right there, and it's like, and you would just open it, and there'd be this scrub, and if it was in the right spot, it would just come flying right out, and it was just you had to be
scrub
on your toes,
so what do you think is what I'm curious, Chris, what are your thoughts on scrubs now as opposed to scrubs when we were in, like, just even the hobby of scrubs? I think because it feels like it's changed. There's more people being successful, more people staying with them long term, than when we were all doing it.
So it's kind of funny. There's like, what's good for the hobby and what's good for me.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I fall into this all the time.
When me and David started this, scrubs were $100 and you couldn't give them away. When we started the Amethystina project stuff, and we did it because we loved it. We didn't care. We thought they were misunderstood. Nobody was really breeding them. So we did it. It wasn't a money-making thing. It wasn't any of that stuff. It was just fun. And it continued that way. And that's why inevitably we had like 200 of them collectively. But I'm still there. I mean, I have 30 or 40 of them. I'm not out. I just, when David and I dropped everything off, ironically, the majority of the collection came here. To Stephen and Desiree. So now I get to look at them all every day, and it's bittersweet because it's like, oh, that's so cool.
Uh-oh. That's not good. Well,
I don't know if you can hear me, Owen, but my thing is not working, or I can't hear you, or something's not right.
I got you. You can't hear me?
I'm going to pull out and then come back in.
I can hear you. Uh-oh. I can hear you.
And try him too. That didn't work. Okay. Huh. I'll be back. Oh, Wait, I'm back. Okay.
My laptop battery was so dead. It alive.
What happened?
Okay.
My laptop battery was so dead that even having it on the charger wasn't enough.
Oh no. Well, now we figured this out.
Oh, that's pretty dead.
Yeah.
But
So
that takes me
last
back
I
to
heard, you
season
said
1.
scrubs were. You still have a lot of scrubs.
And it
yeah,
was
so I've got 30 to 40 of them. The biggest part of our collection ended up coming here to Stephen and Desiree. It's very bittersweet because now I see them every day. So part of it is like, I'm so glad I don't have to clean all these. The other part is like, I fucking hate you guys.
That was mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the stuff that I did keep, I kept my favorites. It wasn't about like what project makes sense or which one's more valuable. So I ended up with, majority younger stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't produced a clutch of anything since 2019.
Jesus.
But in 2019, it was still my my at least most personally valuable year because that was my third generation Barneck baby, the only one that lived out of that clutch.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, it's still the only one that exists, and she's about 4 years old now. And she comes down that Rain lineage, and she's probably the prettiest scrub I have.
Oh God.
So,
yes. Okay.
even I've even considered reducing more from the 30 to 40, even down to 20 or less. And to me, if I produce that animal again, that'll be enough to get out of it.
Yeah.
How about this?
That's cool. Imported Moluccans are $4,000 on fauna right now.
Yeah, that makes me want to punch somebody in the face.
What?
So let's talk about this.
Because there was something where they're like, "Oh man, but it's a patternless." I'm like, "Motherfucker, we had patternless. Like we had patternless Moluccans at one point. The one. No,
I mean, we had
the Wamina.
Maybe this is an introductory hint for anybody who watches the show. But I have a patternless axanthic that I would be willing to part with. But I'm hesitant to even post it because I don't want to play this stupid game that these guys. I mean, if the import is $4,000, what's my 5-year captive adult going to be? 5? I'm not posting it for $5,000.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
I would sell that animal for a very reasonable number if I came into contact with somebody that was serious about the species. The intention was to work out something to leave it here with their Moluccan group. There's a great selection here, but they're so male heavy, and I just have another male that it's just sitting there. So there was no value in doing that. If I ever, and that's my only one. Unfortunately, I was an idiot. So if I ever want to get back into it, hopefully.
Well, apparently, normals are 35. So
only
35. Oh, for the low price of 35. I think we paid $600 for.
Who was the one that
for
won
the
best
first
in show at ICAST? Wasn't that a Moluccan?
Yeah. So that animal came from. Oh, what's his name? He's since passed, but he had that Las Vegas pet store. Ken?
I know who you're talking about. Oh, God damn it.
Ken Foos.
Ken. Yeah. Ken Foos.
Yeah. So that animal was part of that one pair that we got, and I don't even think it was $600 for both.
I mean, but
I think they were more like $300.
Well, they were red. They were babies when we got them. They hadn't even changed their color yet because she cut herself, and it was one of those it peeled, like their skin is so fragile, like it peeled, and Chris and I were like, "Oh fuck, we killed it," and she lived, but
I remember that
the scar didn't change color like the rest of her did. She had this little scar that was still baby colors. It was just so weird. I love that.
I think I bought 2.2. And I think it was $700 maybe with shipping.
Wow.
So 2.2. And they were great. Perfect shape. Everything was good. But
Jesus. Yeah.
I sold them. I don't know why. I shouldn't have.
I don't know why.
You know,
Dude, I think
you know what it was?
I think I've probably sold almost 20 of them.
Yeah, I think you guys can relate to this. We've said it many times on NPR over the years. It's like you always think that you're going to be able to get them again at some point, right? Like
Yep.
it's like, oh man, right now I'm really focused on carpet python morphs, and I need space for these holdbacks, and I'm trying to work on this project.
These Jaguars
whatever
need
the case
cages.
may be.
Yeah.
Right. So you're always sort of playing the game of moving shit around to find the spot. And shit, that was when I had the apartment, and I had all my snakes in the apartment, and
you had all the bins stacked way above your head. Yeah.
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 I don't even think I knew you then, but I remember Owen trying to build his carpet collection, and he gets on the phone and he's like, I don't know who the fuck this Eric guy is, but I don't like it.
He's close. He's in my backyard, dude. I think Chris was like, let's kick his ass. Like,
so I was getting all these dirty looks at the show, like,
well, no,
who are you, man? You're not one of us.
It's because like Chris and I were looking at the freaking citrus tiger shit, and every fucking day we would go onto the website and another one said sold. Thank you, EB. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
who is this EB?
One. It's like, who is this asshole? Yeah. So, yep.
So I bought them then, and then I sold them. I did the same thing with Alma Harris, which, by the way, Shane Adamson, he's produced
got another
one. Oh, we got two Chris's now.
Yeah, see, got quick on the draw.
So I don't know. What do you guys think about pricing of these like scrubs or some of these more rarer type of pythons that haven't been bred? What do you think the draw is, and why do you think that people are raising the prices that high? Should they be that high?
I mean, I think it's hard because, like what Chris was saying with the import thing, like I have all the gold face white lip from last year, and obviously I'm going to price them above an import baby. The problem is that imports are coming in that are of lower price tag, but they're older. Like they're like $600, $700, and I'm trying to get $1,000 for my babies. So you have to compete with that. But then it's also like my guys were captive born and bred. I mean, obviously their attitude is still that they're a white lip, but that should have some sort of value. And sure. I think that when you kind of have the import thing that kind of takes the football and runs away with it into these giant ass prices, you kind of don't really have too much of a room to throw a captive born and bred up, because like you said, what are you going to do? What am I going to throw it out? Like if somebody starts selling wild caught white lips for $1,000, what am I going to do? Raise mine up higher?
1,500.
Who's going to buy that though?
Do you think that, like, I don't know. I feel like, well, I know this is kind of going off of the topic, but I feel like the reptile industry is making some kind of change. And like, I feel like it's not the same to where, like, it used to be that you wouldn't be specific and breed specific things, and you didn't do what you necessarily wanted to do. You sort of followed whatever the trends were or whatever. And, people just constantly following the other people, the whole pyramid type scheme thing or whatever. But it seems like a couple things have changed. It seems like more people are embracing the fact that you can keep a reptile as a pet, which I guess then if you're talking about keeping something like a Moluccan or whatever, and it costs $3,500, I guess that's, some people pay that much for dogs. Some people pay probably more. I think some people pay like in 20 grand and stuff for certain.
I'd pay somebody to take my dog for that much. Like, I mean,
me too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, package deal.
Yeah, there you go. You could have both our dogs. Both spotted idiots.
Maybe I'm just looking at a different thing, but it just seems like it's making some kind of shift. I just worry that, like, when you outprice those, I mean, like Bones, to me, we've talked about this before, but like $10K for a snake, I don't know, it just seems crazy where you don't know. It just seems like it's not gonna maybe get into the hands of people that could actually be successful. However, with scrubs, it seems like that it's becoming more and more of a mainstream thing where people that are diehard scrub people are actually producing it. And the only thing I can equate it to is this: you don't see as much turnover. Maybe I'm not in the scrub game as much as I used to be, but like you just don't see that flip. You know, that animal that went from me to Owen to Chris back to me
back to
to
you.
Owen,
Yeah, it's over there to somebody else to come back here.
I mean, how many times have we done that? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
What do
you
you
really
guys
don't too much, to be honest. And I think your kind of views on that has its pros and cons, because I think at one point we were driving this hobby into this thing where like everybody had to be a business owner.
Yes.
Everybody had to have projects. Everybody had to make money.
Everybody had to go get their business cards and their website and
Yeah.
their T-shirts and
yeah. And like that stuff's all fun and it's cool. And if that's your passion, like I'm not knocking anybody,
yeah.
but it was a point where there was like pressure where like you shouldn't just be the guy with some pets. You should
Correct.
take that animal and breed it. You need to.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel that way about some species. We're talking about Bolins, we're talking about Moluccans, we're talking about Halmaheras, that stuff that, you know, we don't know what our window is to continue to be able to obtain those. You know, somebody who has one as a pet, I'm not going to be like, you're an asshole, sell it. But
you're the worst person
my
imaginable.
Feeling is it should be in those hands where, you know, we still have a shot at reproducing it. And I think that the pricing in that regard definitely is a hit. You know, some of the guys here that have been successful with a lot of things don't have that 10 grand.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We definitely do have Bolins in some very capable hands in the country with people that I'm sure are going to get it down. But there's a lot of people that probably want to try and might have different ideas, and it's just never going to be feasible.
They can't buy 2 brand new cars like right out of the bat. Yeah.
I think the thing is like when so this is where I made the mistake, and I don't know, maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong, and I learned this much later on, but if you're working with a group of wild caught animals, like look at Ron St. Pierre, right? He's posting up emerald tree boas like crazy. He has a group of, I think I've read like he has 65 emerald tree boas that he brought in that were
do that to yourself.
Well, again, like if you want to, and let's face it, Ron St. Pierre, he doesn't mess around. He does the shit for real, right?
Yeah.
So like if he's bringing in a group, he's going to start breeding emerald tree boas, and he's going to do that. He's focused on breeding that species, and he has a huge group that he has, you know, he has different patterns, and you know, I'm sure there's morphs and stuff like that.
Multiple
but like
projects.
You're going to have different bloodlines, and now you can sort of like establish a group for yourself in captivity. If I were to do it all over again, that's probably right. I wouldn't go I used to think, well, I can just have a pair of Moluccans, a pair of Halmaheras, a pair of Southerns, a pair of Northerns, and a pair of Tannenbars, and I'm good. And it's like, no, you need like, you know, you need a group of them. And I think when you're talking about, what is it, $4,000 for a Moluccan, or even if it's $3,000 and you're going to buy 2.2, I mean, that prices a lot of people out pretty quickly. You know, and it's the same with the Bolins. Like if you heard $10,000 for one snake, like if you're going to get 5 snakes, like, come on, man. like,
and some of that stuff, I mean, maybe the Bolins might be a little tough, but just generally speaking, I mean, I think that we're also in an era of price correction right now. If you were to compare this to, you know, the economy, the stock market, stuff like that, there's inflation and then there's a correction. And that's why, you know, let's not get into the drama of morph market, but let's talk about how many people make the comments of, you know, stuff just sitting there. It's not moving. We can't sell it. We can't sell it. We won't drop our prices, but we can't sell it. And
but
you know, 2/3 of us blame Darian, and he puts himself in a place to ask for it. But it's not his fault. Nobody's buying your snake.
But that's the thing. Is like, so there's what the value of I have in the animal. There's what I price it at, and then there's what it sells for. Like, could I sell all my white lips tomorrow? Yes. Would it probably be for like $400 each? Probably, but they'd be gone. But I'm in a place where I can sit on them. They can be here until they sell for the price, or until they are large enough and somebody agrees that now they have that value and they're willing to pay that much for them. So
I think too, part of the I think part of you're talking about people that are saying that their snakes aren't selling. I think part of that is number one, you probably have, are they doing any type of advertising? Are they doing any kind of marketing? Are they putting themselves out there?
An ad in this market isn't enough.
No.
Nope. Are you going on a podcast? Are you making a YouTube video? Are you going to a carpet fest where you can meet people or whatever the case
look
would
what
be?
I'm doing.
Or
you
show.
think I want to sit here and talk to you two assholes?
Hell no.
You know, I never wanted to see your face again after there was a light bulb.
Yeah, I thought we were done with this guy, Owen. What the hell?
But yeah, it was just.
But Owen, you just hit the nail on the head with the white lips. A perfect example, and I don't know if it was your intention or not, but I'm certain you'll agree.
It's always my intention to do perfect things.
Is that what was I just going to say? No,
the white lips.
Throughout the hard times, it takes resiliency and it takes responsibility.
Right.
You've been through some hard times where, you've lost some stuff, you've lost some money on stuff, you had stuff that didn't sell, you had to wholesale some stuff to make room, but now you know how to ride the wave. Yeah. And you're like, they're not selling, I'll sit on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just care about the animals being in good shape. I care about being in the industry. I care about my friends. I care about my animals, and the market's going to come back. And if it doesn't, and I have to drop my prices, it's going to be because I decided to, and I was ready to. It's not going to be because of desperation or my inability to sustain.
And I feel like the second you start dropping things publicly, you've now tied yourself into a knot. Like if I sell olive pythons this week for $500 something, and then next week I feel the pressure and I start letting them out the door for like $400, I've just now totally shot all the customers that bought from me last week, and it's done. But if I'm selling olives for $500 and I got a friend that's always wanted olives and I got to get some room, I call them up and I say, take these, pay me later. Or take these for this amount. He doesn't need
how many people I owe money to because they think they can tell me to pay later. I'm like a borderline scammer over here.
You know how much free shit I have just because I forgot to pay people? It was, but it's I would rather do that. And like you said, there have been numerous times where I felt the pinch and I ditched a project because I felt like I had to, or I needed to make that money or needed to make that space. And then things got better and I regretted it. And you can't go get them back. You made goddamn corn snake projects I had to rebuild because I'm every time something got bad, I'm the corn snakes are gone. And then I just buy up more corn snakes later. It's if I just held on to the fucking
It seemed
things.
like every year that was the situation. You'd be like, I got some more corn snakes. I was like, wait a minute, didn't you just sell them all?
I need more corn snakes.
I think too. I think too,
prices, we can't dictate the prices. The supply and demand is going to do it. The market's going to do it like it does it in the rest of the world.
Yep.
The prices are going to start to come down. People aren't still going to buy. People with a brain are going to buy because this is a time where stuff is negotiable.
Yeah.
And
I think the good thing that I see
it'll make
about
it cycle. It's not like the industry is not like it's small enough to go away.
Right. I think that the reptile industry this is where I see it growing in a positive to a certain extent, is that it no longer is just about you just being able to breed a species and then somehow you're going to have people banging down your door to sell it. You got to do a little more. If you really want to run a legit business, then you got to run a legit business.
Has
not
anybody
this
on
half-ass.
Has anybody on this call, with all the species that the three of us have bred, and some of them kind of rare, some of them rather expensive, have y'all sold out in a day of the clutch?
No.
Have people come and thrown money at you?
Never.
No. That is a fuck. I don't give a shit. It could be an albino Bullen's python. It ain't moving tomorrow.
It's part of the thing too, right? It's you think about it, right? It's all in how you advertise your clutch. If you get it, I remember when we got in Cape York carpets, right?
Somebody just heave a croc monitor at you.
Oh, wow.
Eric is so passionate about his topic.
Just
that
let it go. I'm
pretty
pretty sure somebody just dropped the croc monitor on you. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow, how cool is that?
It's a small Komodo dragon.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll leave you there with Chris.
Yeah. You stay there, you velociraptor.
I think what was I saying?
Gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I was talking about Cape York carpets, right?
Yeah.
Very rare type of locality of carpet pythons that come in. Now, they came into the States years ago.
No one.
So do you post it right when you get them in, right?
Yeah.
Like when they're babies and like then you create all this hype to where, I mean, think about it. Like think about when you're breeding and you post up pictures of your snakes breeding. How many people hit you up right then and we're like, dude, put me on the list for that.
Dude, no.
Oh my God, I gotta be on the list.
The second the eggs
like,
are
as soon as
laid,
the eggs came out, you're like,
the
oh, I
second
gotta
the
be on
eggs
the
are
list.
laid, people are like, I want it. Then the babies hatch, and new people are like, I want it, and then you list them up for sale. Crickets. Nobody buys the thing. It's like yeah.
So
it's kind of funny, and maybe it's just the way that I've gone because I don't really do a lot of things with a purpose anymore. I just do kind of whatever the hell I feel like doing. So to your point, if you get something new and like that rare, different, whatever, like do you throw it up right away, or is that kind of your secret until it's established?
There are very few people that know the hell what's going on over here.
So like,
yes,
for example, I have a trio of turquoise monitors.
Right.
I think they're the only ones in the country.
Right.
Okay.
I've never posted them because I don't care.
Right.
I don't care if they're the only ones in the country. That's not my clout. I don't want people bugging me. I just like them because they're freaking blue and they're like a cross between a mangrove monitor and a tree monitor, and they have really cool scales. And I just want to be left alone to touch them. I don't know.
That's kind of where I'm at too.
And then I just post what I like, and these croc monitors are really fun, so that's what I post. When I feel like posting the turquoise, when they stop flipping shit every time I look at them, then I'll post them. But it's not like, hey, look at my new toy.
Yeah.
What was the something I said after I got the roughies? They're like, oh man, I want rough. No, these aren't for you. These are mine. These are my rough scale pythons. I will decide if any of you get to have any, but this is for me. Like so.
To that point, though, since we're a snake show, I don't know if we know the name, but do you guys know Josh Carson?
I think I've heard the name.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, so he was the guy that helped me get those too, and he was just on the cover of Reptiles magazine too with that that tokay gecko issue.
Huh. Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, him and Jimmy Ma wrote that article. So he was going to keep those two, and I bugged him every single day until he decided to send them here. So. Even though I'm not showing him off and giving him all kinds of credit, he deserves it for putting up with my shit.
I honestly think that there has to be some kind of like I say this in like my experience and with me, right? It's like it's sort of like when you do a show, right? You don't like you could just show up and throw some deli cups on a table with a black tablecloth and call it a day. I suppose.
I think the cheapest table I saw this morning at Hamburg was a black tablecloth, some of those plastic pie things, and then literally a desk lamp clamped to a wood 2x4 that was just on a table shining on some snakes, and that was it.
Well, your promoting doesn't get any better than when I vend with you and fall asleep.
Yeah, I think we have pictures of that.
There's several times I think that happened.
Every year Howard reshares that one. Jason, both of them.
Yeah, there wasn't there was the blizzard one where we went, and didn't you have a concussion or something had happened? Yes.
Car accident.
Yeah. That was fun.
Real quick, how old is that croc monitor?
How long is that giant lizard?
How old is it?
Yeah, these were born in March. I don't know what month we're in, so I can't tell you.
So
5 months, we're in August.
Jesus, they grow fast.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Wow.
So with these guys though, is there another inherent level? So there's price that we're talking about, but isn't there also like you don't want to sell a croc monitor to just anybody who walks up and hands you cash, right?
Well,
dude, so you know my history of venomous.
I do.
Which I've dove back into like an idiot now that I'm
Don't know
almost 40
why.
and have a kid.
I mean, we were having that conversation last night where you're like, dude, I don't know why I did all this venomous stuff. I'm like, is it more dangerous than what you were doing? Yes. Well, I don't know why either, dude. I think you're stupid. So
Right.
yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean that's definitely a code that we've always understood, even if we were doing stupid things, that was no joke about screening the buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't just sell a cobra to somebody. This isn't Hamburg when we're at our own homes.
Yeah, well, I
That
think
might have
that's
been how I got my first cobras.
That was. I think I brought up that story several times where it's like, how old were you when you got your white lip vipers? Really, like, weren't you? You were too young, right? Yeah.
Too young.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll call it that.
Okay. That's all we
well,
got.
we didn't have social media back then, right? So you didn't have to post shit
You
up.
didn't post them or yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to me, maybe I'm dramatizing it or overreacting a little bit, but I kind of treat the Crocs the same way.
I would.
I think you should.
Responsible.
I've had some bad lizard bites. You remember that blue tail that gave me the nerve damage in my pointer finger?
Yes.
I just got grabbed really bad by a tricolor monitor. We are 8 weeks into it, and I still can't close that hand all the way.
Jeez.
Wow.
And it was only a 3-foot animal. I've never taken a croc bite, but the damage that I've gotten from that smaller stuff and the teeth that I've seen.
I mean,
and some of the clothes, because look, I don't know how to say it. I do stupid things with the croc monitors too. It just is what it is. If you watch my videos, you watch me. I take inherent risks, and I'm very honest about those risks. I know what I'm up against. If I do get bit, I'm going to shut my mouth and I'm going to take it. If I lose a finger, I'm going to lose a finger. Like it's something that I've accepted by chasing the passion that I'm about. But that being said, the odds of a big one taking a finger, they're pretty high odds.
I mean, I'm surprised Tom when his hand.
We've talked about that many times, and Tom would have rather lost that finger. There's no point in having it now. It's dead.
Dear God, really?
It's dead. I made a joke. I'm like, cutting it off would have just been easier. And he's like, actually, you're right.
Wow.
See, I can't have that. How would I play guitar?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Look, one of the guys that worked with me at the farm, he's a glass blower.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he makes like really custom stuff. So he's doing this kind of stuff with his fingers all day, and he's like, "Dude, I got to wear gloves like holding the Ackies. Like, there's just no room for a risk, or my family doesn't eat."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. One of the male rough scale python bit down on my pointer finger and it blew up for like 2 days, and I'm like, it's been a while since I had one of those, but it's
I've got a big, just about 8-foot male croc that's in a big like 10 by 12 cage, and I got it from Robert Fox. I don't know if you guys know that name. He's got some snakes, but he's mostly a monitor guy.
Right.
And it's just flat out a dangerous animal. It's a wild caught animal that never acclimated, and it'll be up in a tree, and you'll walk in and it'll dive bomb on your face.
Yeah.
And we have this dragon for a reason. Like it,
you know, and I'm making progress with that animal. There's a lot of progress. I can get it to follow food right out to my lap and I can pet it. But if it's not its day, it's not its day.
Jesus.
And those days that I've caught it, caught him in the air, I'd love to say that it's skill. I hope that some of it is, but a lot of it was luck. If somebody didn't have that same reaction, I couldn't imagine a croc bite to the face. It's not even feasible to picture.
Wow.
I had my male that sired both of these clutches. He likes to come out onto my lap and eat, and I hand feed him like an idiot, and it's always gone well. You've probably seen the Tom
until it doesn't, right?
Until it does. It always goes well until it doesn't.
Until it doesn't.
They clearly recognize the difference between the person and the food.
Right.
And it's true. The crocs that I've built trust with, I can feed them, and I can be covered in rat blood, and I can pet them.
Do you see a difference between the babies that you have raised and some of the wild caught ones, and in realizing that kind of stuff?
Oh, I do, and that's part of where I'm going with this. But like even that male that eats on my lap, have you ever seen a lizard like grab something but grab it funny, and then they have to like push it down on something to kind of readjust?
Yes. Yeah.
He pushed it down on my thigh and grabbed my thigh through my shorts with the chick.
Okay.
Yeah, he put his tongue up my nose. It got weird for a minute.
Baby
And
lizard made
I
it
didn't
weird.
even feel anything. I didn't think it was that bad until I stood up and just started pouring blood everywhere.
Wow.
And that wasn't even a bite. So
I mean,
one accident. And that's why I never even liked to sell venomous. Even if I did my due diligence, like I just couldn't. Sure, maybe I'm not liable, but I just couldn't be that guy that sold the snake that did somebody in,
or got out. And
so with the Crocs, it's really hard. But to your point with these babies, so we spent a lot of time with these, a lot of time, and for whatever reason, the second clutch was full of assholes. I had one bite me while I was still in the egg. And really, one of the things, Desiree let me keep them at the farm. We hatched them here at the farm too.
Okay.
But she let me keep them here instead of taking them home. And in your head, you could probably be like, well, I want to take these home. They're so special. But I loved having them there because everybody wants to mess with them.
Yes.
Everybody wants to look at them.
Right.
So it's like socialization of a dog.
It has a lot of crocodilians in them with open water. So the room is very humid. So I actually have some of them in like those reptibreeze cages, which in a normal dry room is the absolute worst thing you could do to a lizard. But for these, it's great because they can climb on every inch of the wall and they see all the people coming by. So for some animals, that overstresses them and it's a bad thing. But the ones that it doesn't, you can see they're just so inquisitive. You put your hand in there, they'll come jump out on it. So I definitely think that these babies are like a game changer in that aspect. Okay. Like if I were to sell that big male croc, I'm sure I can come up with a name, but right now, not many people like outside of Tom would I trust that animal with, or going back to Rob.
Right.
But one of these, if I knew that somebody had the space and resources, and they were intelligent people, and they had some monitor experience, man, like if you keep spending time with this thing, like.
I mean, like you're touching it all in the face, which
they crawl up my face. They sit on my head. Jade wouldn't mess with the bigger Crocs that she didn't trust, but she'll go take these babies out. She went and got this one for me.
Yeah.
So I think that this is definitely the opportunity to have a social animal that beats the stigma of the nasty Croc monitor.
Well, and that's
one accident still.
Exactly. Like there's
even
that
this
whole
one.
thing.
This size can still. It could be stitches worthy.
Yeah, and I mean the good thing is that you hope that when you get the next gen in, when you raise up these guys, it'll make it easier because I mean to produce, and then those babies will kind of be the same way. But I think you could be several gens in, like into F2s, and still get a-holes. Like technically, my baby white lips are F2s. They're assholes. They are just dickish little bastards. Like it is just the way it is.
So do you think? So are you thinking in your mind? Do you think that eventually they'll be? Is it kind of like as you breed them more and more in captivity, there'll be better animals to have in captivity, or?
Like, it's kind of hard to say because one of the things is kind of like what the stigma did for the species.
Right.
The automatic assumption is that a Croc monitor is a dangerous and an aggressive animal. And
yes,
in
aggressive, I don't know, but
reality, it is just because of what it can do.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But it's just kind of, and I'm sure you can relate this to some kind of snake that you guys have kept. Like
retics,
once you
African
understand
rocks.
the behavior of something and start to build trust with it, you can get a different response out of that animal.
Right.
And these wild caught giant Croc monitors that are just these terrible things, and Tom is still better than me at it, but I've gotten the concept down pretty well. Is like that one that dives out of the tree and tries to bite me in the face. If we put that thing on Crutchfield's farm, it'd be riding on somebody's back in 3 months.
Right, because we've had that where like an animal at Eric's house, he's like, watch it, this thing goes straight for your face, comes over here and is crawling all over me. Like, we've had that where I had a blood python that I sent to Matt Minatola, and he sent me pictures of him cuddling with it 2 days later. Like it happens.
I wonder though, let me ask this question. I wonder though, like at what point, and Chris, I think I often use you and David Means as a as an example of this. Like when I first bought a scrub from David
You're allowed
Means,
to forget the names of quitters.
Jesus Christ.
I'm bringing up names tonight, huh? But anyway, he screened me. Not that, back then it was what, 2010, I guess, or whatever. But like he screened me to buy a bar neck scrub. Like there was a lot of like talk back and forth of how I'm going to house it and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe that's more widely done in the reptile hobby now. I don't know, but it seemed like it was not widely done. And maybe it's just my exposure to Hamburg, where you get the Hamburg starter pack, you get a venomous, you get a monitor, you get a crocodile. You get, a big snake type of deal. And you just walk out with it and think everything's going to be hunky dory. I just worry about animals like this that, like, not necessarily saying that they're aggressive, but is it something that you can trust 100%? And if you don't, and if it's like, I see sometimes that people like, I'm sure you've seen them and they have a croc monitor and they're just doing things that eventually is going to end badly. And like, should they be more regulated by like, I'm not saying they should be regulated by the government or something like that, but I'm saying just in general as the hobby, should, like, a big retic shouldn't be with every type, you know what I mean? This retics, African rocks, any of those big snake, even scrubs, they get big, but like,
no, I definitely think so. And this might make me like a judgmental fuck, but when I'm in these monitor groups and stuff, if I see a new person come in and post a croc monitor, I'm like, this probably isn't good. And that's a bad look because maybe they're doing everything perfect, but I'm just so nervous because if that was your impulse animal, like, I feel bad for the impulse savannas, but that's not gonna wreck somebody's life.
Correct.
Yeah. But we see that all the time. It, like Hamburg and other shows in this area where somebody brings in a croc monitor that's in a plastic bin that they've purchased, and they tell you that they have it set up in a 45-gallon tank or something at home, and it's like and
for me it's more about them too. Like we care about putting dangerous animals into the hands of people. Call me insensitive, but that's a selfish motive. We care because we don't want them to do something stupid that's going to get us in trouble.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't want to see people hurt generally, but the bigger concern is what is the one idiot doing to the masses.
Right.
So that's something that we don't want to see. But my concern is more about them, to be honest. Sure, maybe some idiot's going to get wrecked by it, but this animal can sit in a 4x2 right now. How long are they going to keep it in there? Like, you've seen the nerd videos of like taming the water monitors with like the small kind of bare cage.
Yeah.
And like kind of forcing the interaction.
Yeah.
That works for that species. I'm not knocking Kevin. I'm not knocking Nerd.
Right.
That constant interaction, it works. A lot of times with these, maybe the babies will be different, but those bigger animals, the second they don't think they can retreat, they turn into a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for everyone that we've done well with, it's about giving them space and letting them come to you.
Yeah.
People joke how like I don't ever wear gloves, and I get scratched up. I do look like an idiot, but I'm not wearing anti-bite gloves because I'm not even putting myself in a position to get bit, because if the lizard's not having it, I'm not touching the lizard.
Yeah, why even put yourself in that situation where we've talked about before, where people are like, I tame down my Timor python because I hold on to it until it chills out, and it's like, well, why are you
held on to it until it gave up on life?
Exactly. Why are you stressing it out that far? So
see the difference.
So that's
holy shit.
That's not a snack. Stop looking at it.
Yeah, please don't eat it. So this is one of the newer babies, and then that one is a couple months old.
Yeah, so this one was end of June.
Okay. End of June?
Yeah.
It's already that freaking big. Jesus Christ.
Can you believe, though, this isn't much bigger than it came out of the egg?
They're all packed in there, like all wrapped in there.
And I know they're all tail, but like even the hatchlings are like 16 inches.
Jesus.
Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, it's like Dan said, 99% of people can't keep them correctly because they need big enclosures and all that kind of stuff. I think it's the same that holds true with big snakes too.
It is.
You know,
it is.
I think I was I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about it was the Retic lounge, and they were talking about there was a paper coming out that was talking about the home range of Retics, and you know they travel like shit. I think it was 100 miles a night. They might not move all the time.
Yeah.
But when they move a lot, right? And I guess that makes sense, like with the nose rub thing and all that, where they're trying to constantly escape or whatever. But like, is that why they're having issues when you think about that and you put even if it's a 12-foot snake in a 6-foot enclosure, I don't know.
Yeah, I am on borrowed time.
And then you look
with
at
my
something
Retic.
like a monitor, which, my little bit of experience with monitors over here, they require, I have the little ones, the ones that can't lose a finger to. Well, I guess you could.
I mean, it would take a long time
if they
for
get
a
you
Kim,
right.
Yeah,
The
Kim would have to be on there for a while for it to be a bad thing. But yeah,
I just don't know if the average person is something that
well, it's.
But I think people
willing...
like Chris, who loves the species and really doesn't give a shit if he sells them, doesn't sell them, or like he just
that's what it is. Like,
just
I'll
loves
keep all the
species,
babies. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't give a damn.
You think I can't come up with 10 big cages? I will build another building.
I know. Yeah,
I get it. Like it's only a matter of like time. Yeah. So yeah.
So we're gonna try a little camera experiment for fun. I don't know if I got them too sketched out, but I got to go the opposite way. You hungry?
You gonna eat it or not? No. I think there's some curiosity there.
So what are we feeding it? What is that?
Jade, what are you
Mouse
poking
leg?
you in the face with?
Chicken leg?
Yeah.
Yep.
Chicken leg. Oh, he wants it. Open your mouth.
We said we would never do live feedings on YouTube.
And yet here we are. It's not a live. There you go. It's not a live feeding. It just happens to be a feeding that is live.
So this is exactly how that bigger one got me. See how he has that chick leg like kind of sideways?
Yeah.
Well, now he got it down, but if that was a whole chick, like he might have put it on my hand and try to like readjust it.
So do you do small prey items with guys like with him, or is it like, because normally I always thought it was just you give it like a whole mouse that it kind of just swallows down like monitors. Like, should it be like, is it just smaller meals for these guys?
I do a little bit of both. I vary the hell out of the diet. They're always eating something different. Everything from bugs to chicks to rodents to quail, fish, crabs, shrimp, eggs.
Let them go for it.
Sometimes a little prey that they get down quickly. Sometimes one that I make them shred all over the cage and destroy.
Because that's fun to clean up, and what is it? Mike Curtin, we all know that man, gave me bags of trout for my false water cobra, and I gave one to a carpet python, and it bit it and squeezed it, and the trout exploded to the point where there was fish guts on the ceiling of the cage and the ceiling of my room. And I'm like, well, we're never doing that again. Like, it was just, yeah. So it's always a fun experience to have that kind of cleaning stuff, but that is so cool to do that kind of stuff.
But it's kind of interesting because we say this about kind of the nature of these babies. But the female that I'm trying to breed now is owned by Desiree.
Okay.
We're doing this joint. One of my things is that if I can't get babies, I've gotten 2 clutches, which is great. But if I can't make it happen out of different animals, it's still just luck to me. I think I have a clue, but I might have no clue.
Right.
It might just be that you got a pair that it I didn't get gold-faced white lips again this year. So you think that wasn't in the back of my head that I'm like, well, clearly you just ran into it by accident, and now.
And I did a lot of work to get that first female to cycle. Well, that's that one I got back in Maryland when I said I was only going to have one croc monitor ever.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Yeah, it went good. But I did a lot of work to get her to cycle. I had them paired for well over a year before I even got him to recognize that she was female. In this one with Desiree, she raised that one from kind of maybe this size, not quite a hatchling, but a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And she is very, very, very. I mean, we never use the word tame, but it's all but tame. I mean, I'm petting this animal on the face while it's guarding its nest.
Jesus,
we're that kind of comfortable. So call it,
Wow.
whatever. But it kind of shows that that's always been possible.
Yeah,
I do think that this encourages it to be more likely and more consistent. But we'll see. I kept back 2 of them. I might keep back a third. I really want to, and this is selfish too, and it's kind of shitty, and I got over myself. But I was annoyed that I got him this year because this was like the year of the goddamn croc monitor, with like 2 other people getting them, and I've been working on this for like 6 years. I'm like, these son of a bitches. But I'm like, you know what? There could be 30 people that did it. This is still I'm working on blue tail monitors right now. I have 9 of them. I've been trying to pair them. I've been doing all kinds of stuff, and everybody's like, man, but if you get the blue tails, like, you're going to be the first one to ever do it. And I'm like, I'd rather get crocs again.
Yeah. So
is that what I love doing? So I don't care who else did it. I'm obsessed with it. I'd like to trade with those guys and get some unrelateds, but the pace at which these damn things grow, we haven't lined up the timing so great to.
That's always good to kind of swap stuff, because I know I sent some stuff to Lisa and sent some stuff to Ryan, and Ryan sent some stuff to me. So that kind of stuff is always good. A few
people have read them, but I don't, and I could be wrong. There could be somebody out there that could share something different, but I don't think there's any generational depth in the species. Maybe in zoos. I mean, like there's some books written in different places. Honolulu Zoo has major success with croc monitors. They might have some stuff, but in private collections, I don't believe so.
I don't know. I think I think with the monitor, it's hard for it to be that thing. Like with snakes, you can set them up over at the farms over there and just kind of reproduce them there. I almost think with monitors, it just happens to be that you found either a female that dropped a clutch in the thing, but then the next season you're going off of just finding what you find. So
I almost had like a finale for the day, and that was going to be, we had a croc lay yesterday in a tree stump. And
nice.
I got her to lay in April, and they were bad eggs. She scattered them everywhere. It took her 4 days to get them all out. I was panicking, especially because of course it would happen to Desiree's animal, not mine.
Right.
So like, one, I could never handle the loss of mine, but I could never tell her that the sweetest croc I've ever met had a complication while I was breeding it.
Right. Yeah.
But that got over well. She recovered really great, and we tried round 2, went very successful. And this time she hovered over those eggs and wanted to protect them. So I'm like, there's got to be good ones in there. And I was going to take you guys over to the incubator and stuff today, but they were a bunch of duds again. So I'm giving everything kind of a break, and I'm going to do a little winter session over here and give it a shot early next year.
Okay.
Cool. Are they like
this
other
is
monitors?
clutch number 6. So I know that I'm doing a combination of something.
Okay.
Right. So I'm convinced I can continue to get eggs. It's the final steps to make sure they're good. And maybe it's a technique or maybe it's time, but.
Right.
And is it all from the same male, or are we trying to throw a different guy in here?
It's the same male because my other male is a different locality.
Okay.
And then I have another male that's just still not old enough yet. So I do want to try complete different pairs. He's just the only one I've had that.
Yeah. So are these like other kind of monitor species where after you get to a certain point, like she's going to cycle every couple months, or just kind of get into that kind of a thing?
Yes and no. So like there's kind of a general theory, and I'd imagine it's somewhere on Kai's podcast too, because he really preaches this, Kai and Alan.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a female monitor, you need to have a nest box.
Okay.
Because if you're properly caring for that lizard, at some point it should do what lizards naturally do.
Lay eggs.
Cycle and lay eggs.
Okay.
Does that happen all the time? No, because some things take some seasonal impacts that in captivity you could argue maybe you don't need to give them, and that would prompt the cycling. But other ones will really kind of cycle just from good care. And that was the example that we had here. My first ones, like I said, I worked really hard to meet the conditions and get her to go. This female of Desiree's really just kind of started the food cycle, and the timing was just right. I didn't change conditions. I didn't do anything. She's
Yeah.
just been raised very well. She was slow grown, always well cared for. There's a team of staff here that, you know, a lot of them are rodent oriented, but they're reptiles too. So there's always a lot of eyes on things. And she's just a really, really, really phenomenal lizard. And she did what lizards do. But we also have her in a room where I don't know that she's really seen much below like 80 degrees almost in her life.
Okay.
Maybe some 70s, stuff like that. But
Gotcha.
that first girl, I got her into the 50s.
Really? That low?
Yeah, I wasn't messing around. All this endo data that you see that shows like city temperatures and stuff like that, it's not indicative of the microclimates at all.
Yeah, I think that more and more. I think the meaner I've been to several of my Indo-Australian animals is when I start getting eggs. So
there's not a lot of wild data about the species, but the little bit that there's some video documentation of crocs well over 1,500 feet above sea level that are caught on like kangaroo tree cams.
Holy shit.
And digging down into burrows under, you know, forest that barely ever see sunlight. Like you can't tell me that it's not getting cold there at some point.
Are they throughout Papua New Guinea, or are they in a specific spot?
So visually, there's almost kind of like a northern southern break, kind of like you see with the scrubs, or at least
the other stuff.
See it with like Barnecks versus Marukis and Highlands and stuff like that. So that would be like these guys. There's always so much debate over what's what, but like theoretically, northern is like Sarong, Jayapura, and southern is Maruki as well.
Okay.
But every like map range is really, really super spotty. So my guess is it would branch the majority of it.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And they're considered one continuous species, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's done.
Yeah, and there's that thing. So, like, I have this male Maruki. Is that I don't even know if I say that right. I've been saying words wrong since I was 20 in this damn industry.
Yeah,
we've given up trying.
I do it every week.
Yep.
Sorry, Owen finally stopped calling it Morella.
I did. It took me a while. I had to start a podcast to get it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he's super ready to go, and I don't have a female of that locality that is, and in my head, I have some female northerns that are ready. And would the world hate me if I crossed them since they're the same species, or do they just want to see baby croc monitors?
I say somebody somewhere would be.
But I have enough animals that I want to match the phenotypes anyway.
Yeah, I'm always curious of how that plays out.
How much of that collection data do we actually know for anything? But
yeah,
they look different enough to use common sense.
That it wouldn't really help any. It would just be more croc babies.
Yeah,
somebody somewhere who's never bred them would be flipping out in the fact that you did this. Like,
and I've been told, and I don't know the legitimacy of it. I'm sure there's guys that have connections to these farms that make a lot more sense of it.
Yeah.
But there are a good, a fair amount of captive hatched crocs that come available from time to time. That's not typically that wild caught cover. The CH happens. But from things that I've been told is like they kind of group a lot of these together by species. So some of these ones that come over and look kind of muddy and like they don't have that bright yellow orange face like Maruki, and they don't have the big ocelli like Sarong Jayapura, is that they're probably mutts of those locales. I mean, the farms aren't over there trying to breed crocs to blue tails, but I don't think they really care about trying to breed two different locality crocs together. The theory makes sense to me. I don't know if it's, in writing proof if somebody knows some other information, but it makes sense from some of the things that we've seen. So on that regards, there's probably a whole lot of mud here that we already don't know about. Ones that I have might not even be pure locality. But I think it just goes back to like we've all had that ingrained in our mind at some point that like you at least try to keep those phenotypes together.
I almost feel like if you gotta fall back on, the phenotype where it's like, well, I'm gonna try to make these two look like they would go together, or that they would produce the best babies. It's like I can't think anybody would ever fault you for going back doing that.
Well, the other thing about that is I love the uniqueness of both phenotypes.
Right.
So if I were just trying to breed for what I like, I would match them independently to try and emphasize the strengths that each one of them have.
Right.
You could cross them, and maybe you'll get some brighter yellows or golds out of them, or maybe you'll get that nice orange-yellow face, but also with some big ocelli. It could be pretty cool. But you might just have more muddy crap. I'd rather just chase after the pretty form that I already know and enjoy.
Yeah.
That's cool. Very cool.
I gotcha. So, all right.
Airport localities. Yeah.
That's what
I was finding
right?
curious just how, like, because we focused on that with green trees and scrubs and stuff. And how does that equate into other reptiles from Papua New Guinea? Like, okay.
And there's so much of that, and so much of that I lost sight of getting out of like certain areas. Like I came back to Venomous, and there's all of a sudden 5 forest cobra species. Like there was only one, and I had like 7 of them, and they were my favorite things ever. And now I'm like, I don't know what the heck these other 4 are.
but when they do that stuff and they break things down, like we haven't tracked any of that, and it's like, well, the population that we have in the U.S. It's tainted just because nobody. What was the people were getting ready to string people up at ICAST when they're like, there are 4 species of chondro and you all just bred them all together. And
I still don't know what those 4 are either. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't care. It's not. I don't do green trees, so
they're all Veritas still.
How dare you?
Yeah,
well, at least you can separate the two. I mean, come on.
Aren't I not allowed to say IJ too? Isn't that not a thing anymore?
I say it all the time. And
IJ.
Yeah,
we go back and forth. We say we don't.
Well, and now, now there's coastal carpet, which is only Brisbane, and then everything else is Chennai. So,
I saw a discussion about this the other day where they were talking about. So it's already begun, right? That thing that we were talking about when the book first came out.
Yeah.
Is that you had somebody saying, so I could breed my granite to the albino and it would still be variegata, right? And I'm just
correct.
Like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. Nick said that Nick said that he made the albino zebra a pure animal and he didn't want to do it, but it happened. So yeah.
But I think the idea still is that that's a specific locality phenotype, whether they're genetically the same or not. You could still say, okay, I'm going to keep Darwin's and IJ's. I would not mix an IJ and a Darwin at this point, just because you don't want to muddy up the IJ.
Yeah.
I
don't count that. I don't count that I bred. Like I bred Darwin, so I don't count that I bred IJs now. That's why I have the IJs. I will
check them off.
Then I will throw them out the freaking front door.
How dare you?
Like I'm gonna rip her off those eggs and be like, and gone. Like it's just gonna be
So Chris,
I've never had an IJ that wasn't a mouser. I'll never have another one.
One of the things that changed it for me is like I'm not so much a morph person anymore. I'm more of a. I think for me, I still love the morphs. They're still cool and all, but like that for me, like that chase of the combo stacking of,
broken gened animals onto broken gened animals.
Yeah. It doesn't do it for me anymore.
And for stuff like this, like I'm terrified of an albino croc ever popping up.
Oh yeah.
I don't need that kind of PR that makes them popular.
I'm gonna sell that shit. If the albino ruffy hatches, I'm selling it. It's gone.
I kind of on that whole thing. Like I kind of stand with Tom in saying that like, no matter how much trust we can build with these things, we can show that we can engage with them. Pet is probably still not the proper term.
Yeah.
They're not pets per se. They're definitely suited for people that are ready and are equipped, but they're never going to be a pet trade animal.
And the truth of it is like if you really want to monitor, you don't have a lot of space, or you have limited space, you could definitely get one of the dwarfs, or there's so many things that you could choose from that you could get and have the same experience. Yeah, maybe it's not going to be that species that you.
No, I get it. I talk about my crocs all day, but I've got Ackies and Kims.
Yeah.
I love them. I play with them all the time. I don't get the same like intensity that I get over my Crocs.
Sure.
But you can still love a bunch of stuff. And
100%.
look, if I
I'm
lost
just saying that, like that
this
average
opportunity and had to move, or went back to apartment life or something, that's the first thing I'm bringing is my Kims.
Yeah,
like the Crocs are gone.
Kims are my favorite. They're my favorite.
I think some people kind of fall into the status symbol of animals to a certain point. Like, you want the status, you want the recognition of owning a Croc, having a giant berm, having a retic, having a Bolin's python. And I think if you get too caught up in that and you put that over, say, the welfare of the animal, or even just being able to care for it properly, is when you're going to have issues, problems, when you shouldn't be doing it.
It's crazy that you say that. When I moved to Ohio, I had my Crocs in some temporary caging that I intended to upgrade, and Regal and some other things was kind of preventing that.
Right.
And in my head, I'm kind of on the clock of like, I love these things to death. I'd never want to part with them, but like, how long is this no longer considered temporary?
Right.
How long till this isn't okay? And the craziest thing, probably like the biggest like mind fuck during this process, was March 3rd, the day that the first Croc pipped, was a 2-year Facebook memory of me listing that pair.
Oh shit.
I listed that pair because I had this big female Croc in like a 6'2" and I couldn't stomach it anymore.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy. She wasn't happy. She used to be friendly. She wasn't friendly anymore. She was cornered. That's and if that was what I kept her in, I wouldn't even be having this conversation. I wouldn't say that out loud. That's embarrassing. But I did it for a few weeks when I moved, and then a few weeks turned into a month, and then a month and a half, and then I listed them, and I had some really good friends and you might have been one of them. I don't remember how many people kicked my ass, but they're like, "We see how much you love these things. Fucking figure it out." Like, if you're going to keep them in those shitty cages and sell them, but we're telling you, figure it out.
Yeah. Build something, do something. Yeah.
And I did that. I ended up, I took some of my vacation time off and I built some big cages in my basement, and everything worked out. But just like, holy shit, if I had, and then that memory popping up on the same day that they picked.
God, that
what are the chances?
That's
what a surreal feeling.
That's nuts though. I love that.
But that resonates really hard with that. Was like, I would have sold them.
Yeah.
And I would have sold them cheap if I found the right person.
Right.
Because at some point, it's more about that than what project we want to do or what animal we want to have or Facebook presence or whatever.
See, I always had a different approach with that, right? Like, I think that people are lazy when it comes to that. And that's sort of what I was hitting at the beginning. It's like, if you're excited about a species, then hype it up.
Yeah.
Like, I just think about IJs when we started doing NPR. There was like maybe 6 of us that liked IJs, right? And now how that's grown over the years.
It's like, of all 200 in the country, you had 194 of them.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't sell any of the ones you bred. No. It's like,
correct. And it's like, I don't know. I was just excited about this particular species, and I was just like, I'm gonna own it. And it's, it sucks when you go to a reptile show and you walk in and there's Mo or Howard or Jason, and they got neon yellow jungle jags and shit, and you're just like, oh, who's gonna want my dirty ass dirt snakes, but like, it didn't matter because you just keep fucking pushing along, because my guiding star was that I love this species. I was just like, I just really dig them, and I would take all the shit. There's dirt snakes and all that.
I don't know.
It's all good, man.
I don't know who would give you such shit. I mean,
I
was
guy
always
that can't
supportive.
breed them. That's who would. He can breed freaking white lips and rare colubrids, but when it comes to a simple Papuan carpet, he's game out.
It's
too easy
without even trying.
It's too easy, man. It's like me trying to play a GCD progression. It's just like, oh man, this is just too simple, man. I can't get the feel of it.
I want to be challenged. I want complications. Yep. Jesus.
But I will leave you with this, Owen. You will appreciate this. You know how every Carpets and Coffee I like to share a wild carpet python. This carpet is a coastal carpet from the Sunshine Coast.
Okay.
Come on.
Fucking goddamn it.
Oh,
Come
wow.
on, man.
Like,
Come on.
somebody
That's in
would
somebody's yard, dude.
Yeah, well, that's fuck you. Like, that's like I have super caramels that kind of resemble this, and that's years of work and breeding.
Right.
Like,
That's in
and
the
this
yard.
somebody just went and picked this thing up today. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
That's wild.
That is
nuts.
a beautiful snake. So what we're looking at for people that might be listening is this. What would you say? Golden, orange, hypo. Look at the eyes. There's no like real head stamp. It's just got those scales, like
with
the Brettles almost.
scaling, like the black tipping that you get in jungles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I hate the snake. I hate it because it's not downstairs in the cage.
Right.
So,
and then I'll show you a different picture of it.
I'm just gonna, now that I've cut you, I'm going to rub salt in the wound. Yep. Damn, look at the head.
Yeah. Look at those eyes, dude.
They're
like silver. That's a cool snake.
I was going through an old laptop pulling out pictures of snakes that I had from like eons ago. And I found a bunch of that big female that I had, Sophie.
Yes.
With that brick of a head that she had.
Sophie.
You remember where we got that thing, Owen?
We got it in Havre de Grace.
Yes, we did.
She was in a bin on the floor. Like, it was just like,
she was in a bin on the floor?
Yeah, and then when I bred her, it was like 52 or like, and then I think your second clutch was 45, and it's like, I don't need this many babies. Yeah, like, please stop with the eggs. Like, it was, but yeah, it's a monster.
Gosh, she ended up what? I want to say almost 10 feet. I'm sure I'm exaggerating, but it felt like it.
9.5 feet when she died. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Monster. I used to be able to like hold my arms out, and she would go like from hand to hand, and she still have a little bit of tail and a little bit of head hanging off. So, yep.
Do you remember your first snake, Owen?
My smooth scale green snake that I murdered within a month and a half because I was too much of a bitch to get a Cali King. Yeah.
Wait, your first snake was a smooth green snake?
Yeah, I made poor decisions. Yeah.
You know what? I wasn't going to tell people that you killed it.
I
was going to let you tell that incident. With the brick.
I forget that one.
The one that went through the window.
Oh God, yeah, that was so at college I had this green snake set up, and as college happens, you were gone for the weekend because you kept having to go home to clean your collection.
No, I was in Laura's dorm.
All right, never mind.
And I was too drunk to come over. I just mumbled at you when you told me what happened.
Somebody threw a brick through our window for something. I don't know. They just did it for kicks because they hit a bunch of other dorm rooms as well as buildings on campus.
Okay.
And I had the green snake, and the RAs were coming, and I managed to pick it up and throw it in my pocket. And then I handed it off to the guy who lived next to us, and I put it in a bin because it was going to be fines all over the place. So he took it and went over there, and of course there was glass all in the snake's cage. So when everything started calming down, I go back over to his room, and he is telling me that it had like some kind of injury. And I'm looking at it, and I'm a novice at this point, and the only thing I can find on it that I think he's gesturing to is the fucking vent of the snake. And I don't know what's going on with it. And he's like, oh, it's an injury. I'm like, I think this is what's supposed to be there. And I'm calling him. He's drunk off his ass, who's just like trying to tell me all this shit. I think we frantically looked online, and we're like, no, it's fine. Everything's good. It's like, the thing's schweezing all over us at this point. So I put it in a plastic shoebox and hide it because, again, there are RAs, maintenance people. They're boarding up the window, which I love it because they put a bunch of 2x4s on the window, and then we're like, you're good, and left. And still glass all over my shit, his shit, the beds. Like, it was everywhere. And I'm like, I guess I'll go to sleep now. Like, it was just nuts. So yeah, that was a fun day. I forgot about that one. My other one was when the RAs came and we had the Cali King there. We had the Shadow. And
I found pictures of that first Cali King clutch.
Yeah, I love that. I got an A for that clutch. I convinced them to let me breed it in the animal lab and give me a grade. So, yep.
Y'all know and started off on a good foot.
Yeah, they contacted me because we got them to allow us to breed the Cali Kings in the animal lab because we promised to give them one as a donation afterwards. And they contacted me, I think it was 2 years ago, because the Cali King finally died. Like it died, and they're like, "Can we have another one?" I'm like, "I'll sell you one." Like, I'm not giving you one,
right?
Like, yeah, but yeah, that was fun. But it was the
how long ago was that?
It was it's 2005, 2004.
Okay.
4. I remember the thing that started everything is you brought the leucistic Texas rat.
I knew you were going to say this.
I love that story. I love it because you brought him and he's sitting there and he wasn't one of the bug-eyed ones. So he was a good-looking Lucy rat, and you're holding him and you said the word and I of course am like this snake looks awesome to me. And you said the words like they just came out of my mouth. You're like, he's my buddy. After you finish it, he nails you in the face, and you're just bleeding, and it's just like, and you're like, well, he's not right now. Like, it was just.
You know what you have helped me learn to do, Owen? At a very young age, you helped me learn not to have an ego about any animal on the planet. Because do you remember that southern scrub in my mom's basement?
Yes, the one that was chasing you.
I got the scrub on the floor, and it's pissed off, and it's chasing me, and it's striking. And I'm kind of like putting on a show for him and whoever was there, and I'm tapping its tail and getting it to turn around. And I'm like, oh, look, he behaves this way when you do this. And I'm like, I don't ever get bit unless I want to. And I tap it, and it gets the very tip of my finger. Let's go. And everybody's looking like it's going to be bad, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Really?
There's a tooth stuck in it.
Yeah.
And I pulled the tooth out, and it was like a cartoon water fountain.
It was just all over the place.
Yeah.
Because we're all sitting there, and he's just like, huh. And then it just did. The funny thing is that years later, I'm working at the zoo job at Joe's, and we had an emerald, and it put its tooth through my the tip of my thumb and then broke it off. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I've seen this before. And I know what's about to happen,
right?
But I have to, right? And I just pull the tooth out and the same thing. It just is all, I'm like, yep, there it is. I figured this is how this was going to go. It was just, but that wasn't even my favorite. My favorite was we were sitting there with the Moluccans and we were all talking.
With Andrew up in my room?
Yes. And then I turn this way and I turn back and you're bleeding from the chin. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? And I see the scrub just cocking back again.
Right.
And we were all standing far enough apart. This thing just launched itself, got him on the chin, and then just reloaded before I realized and Andrew realized what was happening.
I didn't see it either.
Yeah. Just all of a sudden Chris is bleeding. Again,
that's like when we visited Site B, right?
Yeah,
the white lips, and he's just holding them.
Violent animals.
Check out these white lips, and it's like the first white lips I ever saw in person. And the thing's just like, it's not hitting your head, but it's just striking. And I'm like, I don't think I like these snakes.
I'm like, aren't they beautiful? And Eric's like, you guys are fucked up. It is
I don't know, not my cup of tea.
The hell is wrong with you guys? Yeah.
You're like, oh, if it's not feisty, I don't want it.
I don't want it.
What is wrong with you two? Who broke you?
Yeah. Was it? I brought my boss the one time to
the anaconda.
Yeah, Chris was selling stuff, and my boss is like, oh, I want this anaconda, and this anaconda. I handled it. Chris handled it. This thing was a puppy dog. It was fantastic, and I am down there, and I'm like, this anaconda is awesome. It's really tame. It's really cool. I go to touch it, and it just on my arm, wrapping me up. And I'm like, well, this isn't good. This isn't how this was supposed to go. And we get it off, and of course my boss is like, nope.
Yeah,
First
you blew that sale for me.
Well, that's what the first thing Chris says is like, you fucked that up for me. It's like, well, I didn't. I touched it. Yeah. Well, all right, fine. Yeah. So
does that guy still exist?
No, hell
I
no.
didn't think so.
Yeah, he got back in. He got rid of everything, got all that other stuff. He got back into it, went and bought some very, very high dollar value animals, which if you're doing educational programs, you don't need a Boland's python.
No.
A very large Burmese python will do. Like you don't. So he did all that. Like just how like he went and got a Galapagos tortoise. You could get a sulcata. Like you don't need to do.
Yeah. Right?
So he did all that and then got out of it again. So he was kind of back in it, back out of it. So
Gotcha.
Nope. He gone.
Good riddance.
Yeah. Yep. So
we've seen them come, we've seen them go.
Yeah, but he did my favorite thing where he sold the cages before he sold the animals. So like
Wait,
I walked
what?
in. Yeah, I walked in to get a rack and there was like a stack of sweater boxes full of Gila monsters on the ground. And I'm like, well, that can't be good. Like that can't be good for them.
No.
So
No.
Speaking of cages,
yeah,
they're coming back again.
good. I need more because the wood ones I built, they're
Not so
all right.
good.
I mean, they're doable.
If anybody knows, that's what I did before this, and it's why I moved out here.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't supposed to work for Cold Blooded Cafe. I was supposed to work on their property on cages.
But
and one wrong thing after another happened, but we have a CNC machine on site. I'm just waiting on permits from the city to put up a new warehouse.
Cool. That'll be
it's
good.
A little intimidating because every corner I turn, there's a new goddamn cage vendor.
Yeah,
But,
there seems to be a lot popping up, but
it still feels to me like there's still not. It feels like if you're getting scammed in this hobby, there's just as much opportunity to get scammed in caging as freaking animals at this point.
I would agree, especially because I think I ordered. I think I'm still waiting on an animal plastics order. Like I don't know where, but I liked with yours because you did my 15 quart racks, the single ones, the tall ones that help fit like little corners and little gaps that I had, and then you did 2 4-footers for me, and then you did my 8-footers, which I like. You put the rib in the middle to prevent every bowing, and I've had people definitely comment on how good they look, how awesome they are, and it's nice, big, thick glass, and yeah, my retic and olive, and we had the shelf that goes throughout, so I love them. Awesome. I need you to get back into it so I can get rid of all these 6-footers. And
see, kind of the end of me there was just a major logistical problem. So I had you. I mean, you remember in the beginning, I did everything by hand.
Yeah.
Which was awesome, and I missed that because I have a construction background and I like my tools, but it wasn't effective long term.
Yeah.
And I made a partner that did some machine work. He does like audio boxes for a profession, and he's exceptional woodworker, very good at it. But I lived in Ohio. I was driving to his place in Kentucky. I was doing these freaking Pennsylvania runs. Like there were too many flaws in that system for me to think that it was going to last forever. And then coming here, until we were set up, I couldn't work with him anymore. He was 4.5 hours away.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
So, speaking of that, this was one of the last cages I did. And I'll show you the animals in them. They're awesome. They're not owned by me. They're a Desiree and Steven project.
Okay.
They're super cool.
I want to see this. Yeah.
And these are some adult Mangshans.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So we got.
Oh shit! You have dividers in there.
Yeah. So what this is actually. It's hard to do with the laptop because you have to turn it the opposite way.
Just stick the whole laptop in the main cage. Why not? What's the worst that could happen?
It's a bank of 4.
Okay.
So they're like roughly like 5 by. I want to say they're 5 by 3 by 40, but they're just shy of 3, so they could fit through a doorway.
Okay.
And there's the mesh, just because this is a species that kind of thrives on good airflow.
Okay.
And then the mesh in the middle here are doors that lift up and out, and it becomes a breeding connector so that the pair ends up in a central cage.
I like that.
Yeah, so I really like those a lot, and I like all the glass space. is something that I'd like to do for myself even when I get back. I always tell all the good shit and keep all the dumb things.
I like that.
Nice, man.
And then I know that it's already something that exists. I think AP does it, but I like to through the glass locks instead of the sliding locks.
I do. I like that too. Yeah. All right.
He said, "I'll take them. When can you ship?"
Yeah. He wants to, yeah.
Well, that's the other thing about it. So I mentioned all the logistics, and I'll even admit, I had some shortcomings in that process. Some of those trips, man, I cut the wrong size glass. I damaged people's panels, and I took care of everybody, but that kind of stuff just wore on me so much that I'm like, until I can do it the way I want to do it, and the service that I would expect from somebody, then it was time to take the break. I have the PVC here, I have the machine here, so we're really close. And then one of the main reasons I came here to do this with Desiree and Cold Blooded Cafe is the amount of freight that we already do here on the rodents caters to the ability to do that affordably with the cages.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I always did, I always stack myself up against animal plastics.
Right.
And not even as competition. Obviously, they don't give a shit that I exist, the volume that they do. But they're very popular. People like it. They have the longest lead times. Everything has its cons. I'm sure you could tell me some things you don't like about your animal plastics, but I look at it for sizing. I look at it for pricing. And I can normally compete with the pricing, but I could have never shipped a cage. They get some kind of deal there where it just
they have to.
Gotcha.
But from here I can. We have a paper and box company that we use. We ship several thousand boxes a year. We have a good relationship with ground. We have a good relationship with freight. So all of that's going to be feasible.
That's awesome.
I'll let local pickups happen. I'll meet some friends, but I'm done with those stupid road trips. Everything's going to get graded.
I figure what I'll do is I'll start ordering cages, and I'll be like, and the delivery time will be around Carpet Fest because the rules are no animals. But if I need you to drop off like a pallet of cages at Eric's, I think you'd be all right. Yeah, brand new cages too. Yeah,
good. I can get you to finally work on, if you start to do it, you can probably do a much better job on the diamond python cage that I envision over on this wall than I can.
The second zero has crossed this mortal plane, I'm measuring for my diamond cage.
Yeah,
so
I don't know that this works out or that there's a tie to it, but it's just a neat thing that I came across from. The guy I mentioned that works for me that does the glass blowing also.
Yeah.
He does really, really good backgrounds.
Oh.
Because a lot of that sculpting and stuff is like a skill that he already has. Yeah, he's dying for it to come up. He's like, I want to put the backgrounds in your cages. I want to sell them. I want to do this. And he's super hype, and I'm like not even there yet. So I'm like, leave me the hell alone.
Shut up.
But,
and backgrounds?
Awesome, because there's not much of that really commercially available, and there's a lot of do it yourself out there, and it's not that hard, but it's a big enough project that I've never even tried. I just don't have it in me.
So we have there's a guy in Australia, his name is Cam Candy on Instagram and Facebook or whatever, but that's kind of what he does, where he does like he'll take people's cages and then he sort of takes to your point, it's an art, right? But he builds like these beautiful backdrops and like these hides that are naturalistic and everything, and it just looks fucking amazing. And it's sort of like his one picture, he had this diamond python cage, and it was basically like a tree that came up the middle of the cage, right?
Yeah.
And when you saw just the diamond python just hanging there like a chondro waiting for something to come through off this big fucking tree in the middle of the cage, I'm like, dude, what am I doing in these racks and all this bullshit that I can't ever see the snake? I got to get rid of some of this shit, and this is what I got to do. So that's sort of like.
So I don't know what the disconnect is, but I can build anything. I could knock this whole property down and rebuild it again. If it's construction, I can do it.
Right.
If it's design and creativity, I lose every fucking brain cell that I have. If they're like, look, here's your materials, I need you to build a rock on that wall, I'm gonna be like, what's a rock?
Yeah.
Monkey don't
You want it
know
on?
to.
What's a rocket like?
Let me play a rocket, throw it at the wall. All right,
Yeah.
that's your wall. But yeah,
And everybody, they're like, no, it's just so random. Like, you just put some lines here and some there. And I'm like,
It
why?
is. It's an
Like,
art, man.
Like a really
Yeah.
straight one or like a squiggle?
you want me to like do some swirls here? I get
It doesn't
See, I'm the
resonate,
opposite.
man. I don't know why.
I got the creative thing, but I don't have the other part of it, I guess. Like it's too creative and I can't get started. And I'm like, oh, how am I gonna do this? And then I see Owen builds a cage, and I'm like,
well, this
well, if Owen
this
can build a
moron
cage, I
can
can
put
build a
it-
cage.
This
You know,
moron
like
put
that.
a wood box together. Yeah, listen, we were
The
all
box
shocked
part
that
is
that
easy,
worked
but
out.
like having it be aesthetic and like functional and like, you know, Chris is he's showing separations and all this shit, and it's all clean
jealous
looking
of
and
those. I'm jealous of those pass-through things because I'm like, I have that tube, the PVC bridge thing, and I'm like, oh damn, there's this bigger, and it's like you can just slide it right out. Like I like that.
I still actually
God,
like
man.
the PVC thing though. I've seen that a lot.
The
White
tube
Lips
is
seemed
so
like it.
2012.
Shut your.
But to that extent though, isn't there you know, maybe something to be said about the animal kind of having to seek out its passage into the cage?
I like it. The White Lips
kind of opening the wall, like,
and then it's just gone. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the thing is that you know we're also talking about White Lips and olives and Crebo and stuff like that. So it's not like a 3-inch tube is like more than enough. Like even after meals, I'll open up the White Lip thing, and the female will have a giant rat in her, and she'll be over there the next morning when I come down.
Right.
So it doesn't hinder anybody. But yeah, I like it.
Wow. Well, that's cool.
So out of curiosity, even though we're a little too far out to really use this information, but I've been not really very aware of the caging market. I just know that I want to get back into it, and I know the research I'm going to have to do when I decide to. But what is kind of the need that's out there now? Is it still like at one point when I was going to start, it was lead time. My intention, I can build some real fancy stuff, but my intention was to build some basic boxes because people were waiting 7 months for them. I just wanted to belt out 3, 4, 6 footers for months and just ship them because people need them. But now that there's so many cage vendors, is that really not what it is? And we're missing unique sizes or features, or what's the problem still?
I think it's
Quality?
the sizes, quality. I think that, you know, people are working with, I see a lot of people that are wanting larger sizes than the 4x2 type of scenario. Obviously that plays into, you know, I think that the reason why they have you probably can tell me this, but like the reason you have certain sizes is that so you don't have too much waste when you're cutting stuff, right? Yeah, how do you get around that? I think like having maybe something that's sort of like, to your point, you're talking about doing backgrounds and stuff like that. If you could somehow you know, come together with a, you know, okay, you're going to keep a diamond python, this is the recommendation from, you know, whatever, this is the size, blah 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 blah, here's the background. And like, you know, the guy Luke in Australia that does the podcast, he did a thing where he took pictures of I'll have to send it to you so you can check it out so you can get an idea what I'm talking about, because he took pictures of different environments of like, he was, what is the monitor that's by the one that goes in the tree, it hides under the bark. It's a mini monitor. It's right by Uluru, like in that area, like Central Australia. Oh fuck! I can't believe.
I was gonna say, I feel like I should know, and I'm gonna feel stupid when you tell me.
It's not a trick. It's not a.
No, it's not Tristis. No. Oh, why can't I think of the name? God damn it! Come on, Rob, help me out.
He's yelling somewhere, but we can't hear him because he's not on the call.
Not Stone.
Oh,
well, Stone's gonna yell at me.
I mean, he's yelling now. Hi, Rob. We're sorry. So
I can't. Gil and I.
Okay.
Gil and I.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? Aren't they the ones that are hang in the tree? Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's got hands. I can't deal with it. Yeah.
Gil and I. Yeah. See, Dennis told me. Gil and I. Okay, I got it. Anyway, he took pictures of it, and he did like these. They're kind of like a metal background type of thing where he 3D printed the picture onto it. Looks fucking fantastic. And I don't know, like I know to get them from Australia was pretty pricey, but I don't know if that's something you could do. That would be pretty cool. I know that cage company.
I've got a staff here that 3D prints too.
Oh my God.
This
I need
is
purchase.
it Leap? Leap is the cage company. They do like those smaller cages where they're sort of like made out of that some type of like real light
like the
I want to say
the
like corrugated
TM
cardboard, but some
Okay.
you know, like if you get like an outside shed,
It's a plastic thing, yeah.
that plastic that has sort of the
So it's kind of funny that you say that because I'm outdoing myself by saying it since I have a brand new CNC machine meant to cut PVC. But I never thought this was the end of the road for caging. Like,
no.
we're still
yeah.
building square boxes that have to be put together with screws. PVC is lightweight, but it's not light.
Yeah.
You're not
Right.
picking up your 8-foot cage yourself. Not the way you could pick up a Vision.
No. It's
No.
the funny
they're
thing
resilient, but you've probably dropped one and chipped a corner before.
Yep.
Or dragged it over a screw and scratched the hell out of it.
Knocked over a rack into one and punched the whole side. Yeah.
Yeah, so like this still isn't the end of it. And I don't know what the answer is. It's something I want to research, but I don't know enough about. If it's more, like I love the concept of Vision cages. I don't particularly care for some things about them, and it's why I don't use them, and pricing has gone out of this world. But
yeah,
I've always liked that they're light. You could bounce them off the damn concrete, and they have rounded inside corners. Who wants to never scrape a corner out of a square cage again?
Yeah.
I don't like that lip. I don't like the way they bow. I don't like that.
You know what the most fun is when you have a green mamba
substrate base, stuff like that. But I feel like there's still something more. Like they were onto something and no one took it further.
Yes.
It was a Vision cage that had the green mamba in it that was up on that lip constantly.
The one that like flew upside down over my head that day.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, before we wrap it up real quick, I want to just show a picture of Luke's cages, but go ahead.
I mean, I feel like caging is like definitely lead time, price, but then people are getting more into the whole pet thing.
That's what
aspect of it. So
right.
If I have my pet, it's almost like tanks. Like you have the generic starter tanks, your 20s, your something like 45s, but then you get into stuff like this where it's like I want to display my animal.
Look at that.
Right.
Look at that, man. That is so what he did. These are pictures of he went to their environments, took these pictures.
It had printed on
and then
things.
had them printed on these like metal panels that he pushed into the back of the cage.
Yeah.
So imagine if you could get like stock photos of certain, like, dude, I have tons of pictures of Australia.
We've been there.
Yeah. But just thinking about like doing something like that where you're not really dealing with like, the universal rock type of situation, but like, I don't know, that to me, I was blown away when I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, man, that's where it's at.
I think that's a push where it's like people will pay more for having a custom built saltwater tank set to their specifications that they really want. So I do think there's definitely that push. Like,
I try to get Hesham to move out here like once a year.
Keep trying. I love watching him build his tanks, and every time I'm like, damn, that's cool. Like, because dude, people's favorite cage in my house is the rhinos. It's giant. It's a display. It's got plants in it. It's got lovely rhinos in it. Like that's so cool because
doesn't that look like it's the wild?
Right. I love that.
One of those cages, and that's the monitor, Gil and I.
That's the lizard. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, man. If you want to recreate the, that kind of thing,
do that.
That's awesome.
where my head's kind of at, but
Eric's like, that's what I want with diamond pythons.
Yeah. And coastal carpets and jungle carpets and Cape York carpets.
This is so random, but I meant to say it back when we were on the scrub pythons. Who produced the Tannenbars this year?
Eric Hernandez.
Yeah.
There we go. I just wanted to shout that guy out. I don't think anybody's done it other than my two clutches since maybe like back when Ryan or Dave Prada did it.
I slugged. Remember I had her for a season?
Yeah.
I think Mutton did it. Ryan did it. You did it twice.
That was a long time ago for those guys. And then it was me, and then it was no one again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
That's
a long
cool.
time.
I'm happy to see that again.
I
I still
love
have
seeing
that
them.
big girl, but that's it. I actually lost a lot of those. Something happened with that male like later in life where he got some kind of neurotype issue, and I thought maybe I did something. Maybe I overheated him. Maybe something happened because he had this like head wobble, almost like a spider ball or something like that.
This is the Morelia show. Jag will work, you know.
Jag, yeah.
Thank you.
But dude, it translated to like 80% of the babies.
Shit.
Out of both clutches.
What the hell? I remember we had that. What was the rarest one of that group was the normal colored patterned male, right?
And that was him.
Yeah. I liked him.
Yeah, me too.
Just because he was weird, because everything else was either patternless or examped.
The babies that did make it, they're out with some friends of mine, and cool. I encourage them to try to pair them, but I would like to at least if they do that, see how, raise those babies for a little bit and make sure that's not something that carries. They didn't show any signs, but that male didn't. You had him for a long time too.
I had the male and the female. Yeah, no problem.
Phil Wolf. Welcome.
Phil Wolf shows up now.
Phil Wolf. I'm going to be herping with him in a couple months.
I don't want to hear you
down in the Everglades.
Shut up. Another herp trip I'm missing.
Another herp trip.
God damn it.
I haven't been on one of them, so I feel your pain.
Oh,
Desiree's out in Arizona. Like, it's.
She seems to go more.
Yeah, what the hell
than us.
I don't even want to hear it because she's going to Peru next month too.
Oh, damn it!
Hey,
yeah, this is a weird time.
That's how I got this job.
Someone has to be here.
Right.
I get it. Yeah.
If she's not going to go travel, she don't need me.
But we're gonna try to do some herping around Carpet Fest, right? He says enthusiastically and hopefully. Yes.
Robin, Justin are definitely.
I can't remember if that's always a fake promise and we never go, or
we're
I'm
very
too drunk
hungover
to go,
the next
so
day.
So you're too drunk to go. So you and your crew usually don't have the you're not ready for the
how many years ago, what Carpet Fest was it? It was at Eric's house, and I'd gotten up early because I crashed at Eric's house the night before, got up early, drove to Hamburg because somebody was supposed to meet me there to buy a snake. They didn't buy it. So I was up early. I got rats and all that stuff. Drove back to Eric's house. We did Carpet Fest. You do. And I'm like, I'm dead tired. So I end up going to bed, I think around midnight. And I'm woken up at it must have been 1, 2 in the morning to Chris standing in Eric's living room screaming, "Owen, where are you?" Like at the top of his lungs, just screaming it. And I'm laying in bed and I'm like, nope, I'm not going out there. I'm not doing it.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. And people, that. I can hear other people going he left, dude, he's gone. And no, he didn't. Where is he?
It's flipping shit.
And I'm like, nope.
Looking under the couch. Dory's like, what's that guy doing?
The best part is 2 hours later, because I'm sharing a room with Nick. Nick opens the door and he's like, "Here the fuck he is." I hear Nick going, "I found him." It was just shut up, dude.
Good times, man. Good times for sure. Yeah, I'm excited to get Justin out here on the East Coast. That'll be fun.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. So
we have to everybody bring your complete carpet pythons.
Yeah, if you want them signed, that's for sure. Because you'll have both authors here.
He's coming.
Maybe even the third author, Warren Booth, might.
Yeah. Sweet.
So
that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. If you have not made plans, please come out. If you have any questions, reach out to myself, Eric, couple other people that I might direct you to. Don't reach out to Eric. Never mind. No one talk to Eric. No one talk to Eric.
I got to get this place ready. I still got crunch time, man.
Who's not coming?
Fortunately for you, but unfortunately for me, no Dan.
No Dan?
No Dan.
There's a couple people like Michael Arnold's not going to be able to make it.
Can't ride around on his back around the pool anymore.
No, sorry.
I can't make him throw up on Eric's carpet.
Yeah, that was fun.
That
I still
wasn't
don't have
intentional.
carpet. I didn't. So I was going to redo the floor. As just Owen has been here a few times, and me and Dory debated on whether or not we should wait until after Carpet Fest. And I'm
I
like,
mean, yeah,
that's probably the move.
yeah.
Let's leave the floor just like, dingy and like how it looks.
Yeah.
Just, it is what it is. I got to paint the front door though before.
What?
So.
Why?
Because I
Why?
have to. It's part of
Why?
it. It was part of my plan anyway.
Now,
I
because
have
you've
to do it now.
Now I know why
because
he
you
stresses
said
so much. These goddamn particulars.
it. Exactly. Like
It
now,
is, right?
Is
now
there like
you're
is there like a
inviting people
chip
into
in
your
the
house, you don't want
sidewalk
them
you
to
have
be
to
like-
fix too?
I'm gonna walk up to his house and be like, odd color choice. Like I'm going to. It's going to be like I wouldn't have painted it that color or something.
The height that your grass was cut to was not
Yeah.
perfectly even.
And then I'm going to talk about how the flow in the pool and that that the oxygenator maybe might not work properly. Like I'm going
how
to.
upset I'll be. Owen will
Yeah.
just poke the bear all night, and then
All
I'll just
day.
tell him Bigfoot's in the backyard or something. Be like, "Fuck you, man!"
It. Yeah.
Wait. It's bad when my sister, who's met you like what, maybe 10 times, right?
Something
She's
like that.
Eric, do you think this would be funny if we all wear these
It would not be.
Bigfoot shirts? And I'm like, don't
not.
do that to poor
Don't
Owen.
do that. He has enough.
He gets
He has enough in
abuse
his poor
about
life.
Bigfoot. Like he doesn't need my family trolling.
Some of
him
my
too.
closest friends just love nothing more than just to plunge the knife in. Yeah. So over great distances, like yeah.
It's good times.
I'll tell you what though, I answered one post in the Carpet Fest group, but I even got some messages from people that knew I was from here but haven't been to a Carpet Fest, and there's kind of, especially when they hear some of these outlandish stories and the funny drunk ones, and they're funny and I love telling them, and that draws a lot of people, but it doesn't draw everybody.
Right.
So some of the stuff that I've seen is people that just live a little bit different life. They don't drink, or they're quiet, or they're shy, or they don't have a lot of friends in the hobby. And there's not a much better place for it still.
No.
Because even the first one, dude, before I made these friends and you took me to Howard's, I remember at the end I was like, "Are you fucking ready to go yet?" I didn't talk to anybody the whole night. I ate some crabs. I don't even know who the fuck Howard is.
Right.
And I'm like, I guess this was okay. But then because there weren't that many people and I wasn't in the group yet, really. Like I barely even knew Eric.
Right.
And by that next one, I still wasn't a crazy drunk yet.
Right.
But that's when I got my feet wet, when there was more people. So we're at this point where there's just so many different personalities. Like if you don't like my loud, obnoxious ass, and you don't like Owen just because he looks funny, there's going to be somebody in your corner still.
It's great because
I don't even really drink. I don't really drink. Like,
no,
I'm not a drinker.
You're just stressed
that,
and pacing the whole time.
Well, no, normally he's in his snake room sweating to death because he won't ever get out of it. So now
he's suffering from dehydration.
There's no snake tours, so he's going to be out. But that's the thing is that, I mean, you bounce around. You talk to these people. You talk to these people. You make a connection here. You put a face to a name here, and it just slowly knits it together. And to be at that point where we are with all these people, it's because it's grown throughout numerous Carpet Fests to where you have these people's numbers and you have people that you consider family and stuff like that. So it really does kind of
I don't do this stuff. Like I've skipped Monitor Fest twice now, and Brian Waterloo's going to kick my ass.
Yes, he is.
He's like, "You produce croc monitors and you're not fucking coming to Monitor Fest?" Like, I made up that I had some shit to do, but it's really because it was too many people for me, so I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
But to me, this was just my comfort zone, man. It's just very nostalgic, and it's worth checking out.
Yeah. So I would encourage people to come. We have the rules posted.
They said, "Is there an old person table?" And I said, "Yes."
Yeah.
My dad and Jim will be heading it.
I'm going to throw something at my father's head when I see him at the show, because he's growing a mustache and he won't shut up about it. And it is like you would ever have grown in high school at this point. It's just this gray little mustache, like peach fuzz, and he won't shut up about it. So, yep. There you go.
Yeah, Phil's got to come up. He went to the Southeast Carpet Fest, which is great.
Lame. I mean, yes,
But
great.
it's not the
What
the
happened
Northeast,
where we had to
the
shave
OG.
your beard off that time?
U.S.
Dad,
Arc auction or
it was a
something.
U.S. Arc auction, and Dad paid $500 or something like that to it. Yeah, that will not be happening again. I don't ever want to see my chin. You kidding me? No, never.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. Well, Phil. We're probably NPR is going to be coming down to Daytona next year. I think.
Yep,
Me and
yep.
Owen were talking about it. So
Sell expensive
it
animals.
won't be close to Daytona. It'll probably be somewhere further back.
Yep. Yep.
So I guess we'll. Oh, what's up? It's Graham. How you doing,
Graham. What? Oh, goodness.
Is that yes to us coming to Daytona, or yes to you coming up to Carpet Fest, or maybe it's yes to both? Maybe
like,
that's
we
why
can do
there's
both.
two.
Why am I
hands on
stupid
like
and
this.
I only see like one every 10 questions?
Because we have access to the comments and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they're switching that at some point where the guest. I never understood why the guests
guests
couldn't
can't see shit?
the
Yeah, I don't
comments. To me,
understand.
that doesn't make
It's so
any
that we
sense.
can dictate what they see, so they
What
don't
they
see
see
all
and what
the-
they don't. We
Yeah.
could create their
Oh,
reality.
no. I see them. I was stupid.
Okay, fair enough.
There's a comment section and a private chat section. So there's a private chat. We could talk to each other maybe.
Yes.
Yes.
But then the comments, I see all this other stuff. And I haven't seen this the whole time. So if I've ignored you, it might be because I don't like you, but it could be because I just didn't see it.
But NPR and Daytona. There we go, Owen.
I went to a Daytona. I walked
Yeah,
around.
but me and you didn't go to a Daytona at a table where
We've
you're selling
talked about
snakes
this.
and
We
I'm
have
selling
to-
t-shirts.
We can't both go to the. It's like the vice president and the president must travel because
Yeah,
if
but-
something happens, then NPR
Dude,
is
we
dead.
could squeeze in some herping. Come on,
Yeah.
We'll share a table next year.
I need
be
to.
all right.
I'm gonna need to. I got roughies. I got white lips. I got.
I
I
could
don't
do
even want to
interviews
sell
with
nothing. I
people
just,
as they
I just
come
want
up.
to go and
I want
talk
to
to
sell
people
shit.
and get my damn beach time in because I don't take vacation anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's I guess what we have everybody for tonight.
Yeah.
We'll
running
get
out
everybody.
of oxygen.
Yeah, Eric's
I keep
dying.
dodging in and out because I'm like sneezing and then we need a scrub fest. No. Most of the scrub people
Morale,
come to the carpet fest.
No. We hostily took over Scrub Pythons. It's ours now.
I was
Yeah.
gonna
can
say
either-
we kind of are the Scrub Fest,
Yeah.
and I just need to shut up and accept that you're keeping the original name.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, back in the day, Morelia Python Radio was geared around a whole bunch of what Morelia used to be.
And then they
and
took
it
a
was-
bunch of shit out. Yeah.
At least the cool ones stayed. The coolest of the group stayed in Morelia. So,
Yep.
there's that. But
But I guess if you want to talk Scrubs, you have to do it while I'm still sober because Jade loves to tell this story of how I ran around trying to grab everybody because we were going to have Scrub talk. And then when they finally all showed up, I didn't know what they were talking about.
that's how drunk he gets, fellas.
Jesus Christ. Yep. All right. Well, so we'll get everybody the code for Cold Blooded Cafe so that they can use that to get a discount on their checkout. We'll
Yep,
also get
and
the finer
Late and
details.
disorganized as everything else is, but I'm going to give away some free stuff at Carpet Fest too, some gift certificates or something.
Cool. Warminster, Pennsylvania. If you have any questions, reach out to me, not Eric. Leave Eric alone.
Yes, I got things to do.
If you are looking for hotels, look for in the Willow Grove area. That's right off of the turnpike, right next to Warminster. If you have any other questions, please reach out. Go to the Facebook page for Northeast Carpet Fest. It has a lot of the details already on there, and it might be able to answer some of your questions. Also, there are people who are posting up if people need rides or people need places to stay or people are trying to figure out what to do before Carpet Fest. There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on.
Right.
It is next Saturday, 12 to 12. Any other questions, just we'll answer it out for you. Do not bring any animals.
God damn it. I was just about to ask you if we could bring snakes.
And here we go. Like, and this
The answer is a big fat fucking no.
No. Not a single one.
You won't be
Mammal,
allowed to
bird,
enter.
reptile, fish.
Nope.
If it isn't going on the grill, I don't want it in there. All right. So I guess that's it, Chris. If you got anything else you want to throw out there, throw it out, and then we'll get out of here for tonight.
No, man, I'm all good. I'm excited to see you guys again. It's been a
Yeah.
long time. Don't
Yeah.
miss it.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
It seems like it's been freaking forever. So, yeah.
Robert, you're allowed to bring 2.
One of them is going on the grill. I just said it. What did I just say?
No, how dare
No,
you?
no. I'll pick which one goes.
That's going to be in my big Brettles cage that's in the outside of this room when Chris builds that.
Well, yeah, like we have to
That's what's going in there.
eventually. All right. Well, again,
real quick though, I want to make sure before we hit out, just make sure you hit out. We have the referral code for cold-blooded caffeine.
Yep.
In the show notes as well. So
right.
if you want to get
hit
some
that.
coffee.
Also, the link for the Northeast Morelia Pike, the Carpet Fest, Northeast, the shirt.
Who are these guys anyway? Who is the cold-blooded caffeine?
They do coffee.
No, but like they're in the hobby. Like I know their names.
They kind of are. I mean, they keep a little bit, but then they also breed a little bit. But
yeah, they're more of like reptile enthusiasts, but they do keep Trey Hall.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I didn't realize that.
No,
the other guy. Oh, why is his name? I'm forgetting his name. Because we talk to Trey so much, and usually that's who I'm talking to.
I'm gonna go try it now. We've got to have each other's backs. If you guys want to buy rats, you got to buy some damn coffee too.
It's good
coffee.
He does a
I've tried all of them.
Papua New Guinea blend for us.
Yeah,
like it's good.
If you like coffee,
it's good hot. It's good cold. It's just good.
It's good.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's all we have for everybody tonight. We're sorry that everything kind of got a little bit kind of odd when with scheduling. So we'll be back to the regularly scheduled programming. Eric may be on a ventilator, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, he should be heading up the old person table talking about oxygen.
I mean, I'm gonna get him an oxygen tank
now.
Wheel it around a little tank in a tube. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, that's that. I can hear him coming now. It's gonna be good. So.
Yeah. It's good.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch everybody back here next week for some.
Lucas is playing Philadelphia tonight. We couldn't do it. I couldn't go. I totally forgot about it until as we're doing Carpets and Coffee. I was like, shit. But Lucas will be back soon. He's on tour right now. But anyway, okay.
All right.
Lucas, good luck at the show, brother.
We're sorry. Yeah, we will. Yeah.
I'm so disappointed at that.
I am. We suck. What the fuck?
We do.
Yeah.
But I was dying, dude. What can you do?
But that's the problem is that you were dying, and what's my excuse? Yeah. Shit.
Well, he's dying. He's my ride.
I can't go.
Fair enough.
I knew somebody was going to say that.
What?
I made some post earlier about I forget. I'm going to hate my voice or something, or some post I was like, don't talk shit about how I sound on the radio show. The very last freaking comment of the day, Chris, you sound like shit.
I mean, first off, we've lived through how many seasons of NPR where I was like blowing people's eardrums out? It's fine. We're fine.
Yes.
It's better.
Yeah. We're much better now.
All right. That's it. We're ending now. Goodbye, everybody.